আচ্ছা, আমরা আজকে যেটা নিয়ে কথা বলবো, we will talk about communication research. আমি ভাবছিলাম এটাকে একটা 40 মিনিটস বা 45 মিনিটসের অনলি একটা সেশন করতে, যেখানে we will talk about 40 minutes or 45 minutes only. But there are so many things happening around, and I am looking at the true lies and other things. So what I will do is we will just play with it. And is it coming? This is the thing. I did it a long time back. But what I did is, I did one cup. এখানে ফ্রন্টের মধ্যে প্রিন্ট করা আছে, সো ইটস ফর মি whenever I see this, I just see this and I feel that authenticity, or যে আমার পারপাস নিয়ে যেটা এটা স্টার্ট করা সেটা যাতে মেনটেন হয়। আরেকটা আমরা করব, সেটা এই দিকে থাকবে, সো দ্যাট when you are watching you can watch also. So why I am talking about that, এটার একটা এফেক্ট তো থাকেই, এবং এটার কোনো মানে আমরা নর্মালি জানি, বাট আমার মনে হয় দুটোই থাকাটা খুব জরুরি। বিকজ যদি আমরা শুধু দেখাতে শুরু করি, তাহলে মানে এটা একটা ট্রিক আছে যেটা প্রচুর লোক ইউজ করে, অ্যান্ড আই এক্সপ্লিসিটলি আমি মেনশন করবো না। বাট কি থাকে, আমরা দেখাচ্ছি, নর্মাল অডিয়েন্স এরা যখন পাচ্ছে, সেটা তারা পাচ্ছে, ওই লোগোটা একটা পজিশনিং হচ্ছে, সেটার একটা সাইকোলজিক্যাল পারসেপশন বিল্ডিং হচ্ছে, মেনি আদার থিংস, অ্যাসোসিয়েশন একটা বিল্ড হচ্ছে, মেনি আদার থিংস। আই ওয়ন্ট গো ইনটু দ্য ডিটেলস বিকজ দ্যাটস এ ট্রিক অফ দ্য ট্রেড, আর একটা ট্রিক যেটা অনেকে ইউজ করে। কেন আমি এক্সপ্লিসিটলি বললাম? বিকজ ইউ ক্যান স্টিল ইউজ ইট। এডিটিং ইউজ টু বি অ্যান ইনভিজিবল আর্ট। সিনেমার মধ্যে যদি আমি কম্পোনেন্টস অফ সিনেমা বা এলিমেন্টস অফ সিনেমা বলি, বা অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট, হোয়াট এভার বি দ্য থিং, সাটল কমিউনিকেশন হতো, ইনভিজিবল আর্ট হতো, এবং সেটা এমনভাবে হতো যেটা আমি হয়তো কনভিন্স হচ্ছি, বাট স্টিল দের ইজ সামথিং, যে ওই প্রোডাক্টটা নিয়ে আমি কিন্তু সাফার করবো না, বা ইট ইজ নট সামথিং ভেরি ডেট্রিমেন্টাল ফর মি। দ্যাট ইজ ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট। তো আমি হয়তো এই লোগোটা দেখালাম, ওই দিক থেকে দেখাচ্ছি, এই দিক থেকে দেখাচ্ছি, কেন বললাম আরেকটু বলি। কমিউনিকেশন রিসার্চটা কোথায় হেল্পফুল, উই উইল স্টার্ট উইথ দ্যাট। It will be a very short session, condensed. If needed, I will do a second part of it, which will be again of 40-45 minutes. Together you can have 1.5 hour. So let me try with few things. তো কি বলছি, যখন আমি এটা করছি, কমিউনিকেশন রিসার্চের হেল্পটা কেন হয়, পার্সপেক্টিভ বলি, মাইন্ডসেট বলি, এটাকে বোঝাটা কেন খুব দরকার। আমি এটা কিন্তু ইমপ্রম্পটু বলছি, এবং এটা খুব সুন্দর ইম্পর্টেন্ট। কেন? যখন আমি দেখছি না, এই 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 যে লোগোটা আমার তৈরি হয়েছে, বা এই যে নামটা হয়েছে, ইট মিনস সামথিং টু মি। So when I am looking at it, if there is something incongruent, if there is something bad, then I know there is something wrong with it. So whenever I am showing it to people, আমি নিজের সাথে নিজের যে ট্রান্সপারেন্সি বলি, কনগ্রুয়েন্স বলি, বা আমার যে রেসপেক্ট বলি, সেলফ রেসপেক্টও একটা খুব বড় ব্যাপার, যে একটা বড় মহৎ পারপাস বা উদ্দেশ্য নিয়ে আমি এটা স্টার্ট করেছি, বাট আমরা মিলে, কয়েকজন মিলে আমার সাথে কাজ করছে, সেটা যখন আমি করছি, বা দে অলসো গেট ইন্সপায়ার্ড। কেন সব সময় তারা বলে কত কিছু শেখার, বাট আমি তাও তাদের সবাইকেই বলি, এবং প্রত্যেকেই যারা দেখছে তাদের বলি, ফাইন্ড ইউর ওন পাথ, ডেভেলপ ইউর ওন স্টাইল। দ্যাটস আ গ্রেট থিং টু ডু ইন লাইফ। ইউ মাইট গেট ইন্সপায়ার্ড বাই সামওয়ান, বাট নিজেরটা করাটা খুব দরকার, নিজের ইন্ডিভিজুয়াল ভয়েস, বিকজ ইউ উইল ইন্সপায়ার সামবডি এলস টু ফাইন্ড হিজ অর হার ওন ভয়েস। এনিওয়েজ, কামিং ব্যাক টু দ্যাট, এই যখন লোগোটা আমি দেখছি, আমরা একটা খুব ভালো মহৎ উদ্দেশ্য নিয়ে করছি, বা ট্রান্সপারেন্সি, হোয়াট এভার ইট ইস, যা যা ওয়ার্ডস, অ্যাডজেক্টিভস, নাউন্স, আমি ওর মধ্যে যাচ্ছি না। ইউ ফিল ইট, when there is something wrong, you feel it, that's enough. People will get it, non-verbally, verbally, whatever be the thing. এইটা যখন আমি লোককে দেখাচ্ছি, তখন আমার নিজের সাথে যদি একটা ইনকনগ্রুয়েন্স থাকে, যদি আমার নিজের একটা ট্রাস্টওয়ার্দিনেসের, একটা সেলফ রেসপেক্টে বলি, বা নিজের সাথে নিজের ইন্ট্রা কমিউনিকেশন বলি, বা হোয়াট এভার বি দ্য থিং, নিজের সাথে নিজের ইন্টিগ্রিটি যদি আমি সেটাকে টার্ম করি, ইন্টিগ্রিটি ইজ আ বিগ পার্ট অফ দ্যাট। এবং ইন্টিগ্রিটি, হোয়াট ইজ ইন্টিগ্রিটি, কেন আমি এটা বললাম, সেটা হচ্ছে ডেফিনেশন নিয়ে আজকাল বলা হচ্ছে, আমার অনেস্টি আছে, আমার ইন্টিগ্রিটি আছে, এরকম একটা কিছু বলে দেওয়া হলো। হোয়াট ইজ ইন্টিগ্রিটি? একটা ছোটভাবে যদি বলি, যখন কেউ দেখছে না, তখনও আমি এমন কিছু কাজ করছি না যেটা দেখে আমি নিজের কাছে নিজে ছোট হয়ে যাই, যেটা আমি খুব সহজ ভাষায় সাধারণ মানুষের জন্য বলি। এবার এইটা যখন আমি দেখছি, আমার একটা ন্যাচারাল প্রসেস, আমি দেখছি, কাজ করছি, নিজের কাছেও নিজে ছোট হচ্ছি না, কেন হব, সেই কোশ্চেনটা কেন আসবে, সেটা ইম্পোজ করা হচ্ছে বাইরে থেকে, এক্সটার্নালি। আমি করেছি লোকের জন্য, আমার জন্য, উইন উইন সলিউশন, ইন মেনি ওয়েজ ইট ইজ বেনিফিশিয়াল ফর এভরিওয়ান। কেন আমি ভাববো যে এর মধ্যে একটা কিছু আছে, একটা এলিমেন্ট বা একটা কম্পোনেন্ট আছে হুইচ ইজ হার্মফুল ফর দ্য সোসাইটি অর এনিওয়ান, ইভেন হার্মফুল ফর মাইসেলফ? কেন আমি ভাববো না? তাহলে এখানে করছি, লোকে দেখছে, আমি দেখছি, ইট ডাজন্ট ম্যাটার, ইটস এ ভেরি ন্যাচারাল থিং। ডিজাইন পার্সপেক্টিভ থেকে দেখে হয়তো ইনফ্লুয়েন্স করার জন্য, ইন এ পারসুয়েট করার জন্য ইন এ বেটার ওয়ে। কিরম ভাবে বলছি, হয়তো একটা লোক, যেরকম আমরা ছোটদের শাসন করি না অনেক সময়, তখন আমাদের করতে হয়। কেন করি ছোটদের? কেন তাদের মধ্যে সেই বোধটা জন্মায়নি। তখন কি হবে, তাদের যদি আমি বলি এই তুই এটা এরকম কর, সেটা হয়তো কেউ শুনবে না। তখন হয়তো আমাদের একটু পারসুয়েশন করতে হলো, একটু ম্যানেজমেন্ট ট্রিক্স অ্যান্ড টেকনিক্স ইউজ করতে হলো ফ্যামিলির মধ্যে, যাতে তাকে এমন ভাবে সেটা বলা হয় সে কাজটা করলো, করে হয়তো পরে সে শিখলো, নীতিটা শিখলো, বোধটা তার মধ্যে জাগলো। কিন্তু শুরুতে সে এখনো নাইভ, সে এখনো জানে না অতটা। তাকে হয়তো যখন আমাদের পানিশমেন্ট বলা, রিইনফোর্স করা, বা যখন আমাদের একটু পজিটিভ রিইনফোর্সমেন্ট, নেগেটিভ রিইনফোর্সমেন্ট করা, বা তাকে নিজের মতো ছেড়ে দেওয়া, বাট একটা এনভায়রনমেন্টে রাখা বা কারোর সাথে মেশানো, এমনভাবে একটু করা যাতে সে শেখে, লাইফ থেকে একটা লেসন নেয়, জীবন থেকে শেখে, সারাউন্ডিংস থেকে শেখে, ফ্রেন্ডস থেকে শেখে। করতে করতে সে আস্তে আস্তে যত জীবনের এগিয়ে যাবে, তখন সে নিজেই শিখবে। আমাকে ফোর্সফুলি কিন্তু চাপিয়ে দিতে হবে না, ইম্পোজ করতে হবে না। সে বই পড়ে শিখছে, কোয়েশ্চেন্স করছে, তাকে কোয়েশ্চেন করা শেখাতে হবে। আমিও যদি ভুল করি, হি অর শি ইজ কোয়েশ্চেনিং মি। এরকম অনেক কিছু নিয়ে আমরা কথা বলতে পারি, বাট আলটিমেটলি সে নিজে থেকে শিখছে, নিজের উপলব্ধি তৈরি হচ্ছে, নিজের ভয়েস তৈরি হচ্ছে। এইগুলো আমি কেন এক্সপ্লিসিটলি বললাম, বিকজ আমাদের কাছে এগুলো কোনো ব্যাপার না। Maybe for many content creators it's not a thing, and we should not explicitly mention that also. But gradually there is a situation যেটা ইন্ডিয়াতে খুব ট্রাইড হয়েছে, এবং সেটা বাইরে অনেক জায়গায় কিছুটা অন্যরকম ভাবে ট্রাই হয়েছে। এখন ফিউ এজেন্টস অ্যান্ড ক্যাটালিস্টস ইউজ করে দে আর ট্রাইং টু এক্সপ্যান্ড ইট, বাট ইটস অ্যাবাউট দ্যাট মাইন্ডসেট। সেই মাইন্ডসেটটা কি হচ্ছে, তারা যদি ছোটবেলা সেই বোধটা তাদের জন্মায়নি, সেটা শেখেনি, তখন কি হচ্ছে, হঠাৎ করে তাদের হাতে যদি পয়সা চলে আসে, হঠাৎ করে তাদের মধ্যে যদি একটা পাওয়ার দিয়ে দেওয়া হয় ইন্টেনশনালি, সো দ্যাট দে ক্যান বিল্ড সোসাইটি উইচ ইজ আউট অফ অ্যানার্কি অ্যান্ড এভরিথিং, যেখানে সোশ্যাল ডিসঅর্ডার চলে আসছে, একটা মানে সোশ্যাল ফ্যাব্রিকটা ভেঙে গেছে, সবাই ক্যাওসের মধ্যে করছে, মেবি বিকজ সাম পিপল থ্রাইভ অন দ্যাট ক্যাওস। এবার ক্যাওস, আমি লাস্ট দিন বলেছিলাম কি, ক্যাওস, উই আর ক্যাওটিক, হিউম্যান বিংস আর ক্যাওটিক ইন নেচার। সো ওই যে টার্মটা আমি ইউজ করলাম, ডিস্টর্টেড ডেফিনেশন, এন্ড এটা আমি আগে বলতাম না। কেন আমি বলছি যে ডিস্টর্টেড ডেফিনেশনস গুলো এক্সপ্লিসিটলি আই এম pointing towards those definitions, because if you think about it, you don't have to think, but whenever something is happening, you know the real meaning of it. So if somebody is trying to convince you, trying to persuade you, trying to manipulate you in a bad way, you know the real thing. You have asked the questions in your life, you have gone through your own path, you have realized it, you have experienced it, you know what is the right thing to do, what is not the right thing to do. You are figuring out yourself. Nobody is forcing you, you are your own boss. Nobody is forcing you, nobody is telling you to do anything, but you are realizing something. That is also learning. That is a great thing, because when we learn so much, when we are with good friends, our people, close people in our circle, we learn so much, we are helping each other out, they are helping us, we are helping us, and it is not that group, they only come when you are happy. They also be with you when you are sad, when you are suffering, maybe you are going through an anxious process or anxious situation, anxiety হচ্ছে, depression হচ্ছে, frustration হচ্ছে, whatever it is. That warmth we are giving, that human touch we are giving, that pat on the back if needed, for many, or appreciation, because sometimes we need it, right? Especially when you're a media professional, especially an actor, we look forward to it, we know that we need it. But why I'm saying this explicitly, যদি আমরা সেটা না বুঝি, if we don't understand that, we can become a slave towards that. Somebody will come and they will use all those tricks and techniques. Why? They're always about that particular group, or that people with that particular mindset, they're always about that. Now for that you need someone who knows all those tricks and techniques, who can guide you through the process. Unfortunately we have very few people like that, and it's a great matter of discipline, because you restrain to do something. You have a lot of opportunities around you, people are provoking you, people are alluring you to do wrong stuff, yet you are not giving into that, and that takes a lot of character, that takes a lot of personality and character. And that doesn't come with the dresses, attires, apparels, watches, glasses, dresses, it doesn't matter. It's how you make yourself, build yourself. Then when you are a personality, media personality, you can touch so many people, through your stardom, through your personality, through all those things that comes with the media professional and this celebrity and all these things. When you're in front of the screen, when you're performing, people are looking at you, people are looking up to you, they are aspiring to be like you. So that's a great thing. You cannot take it for granted, because some people do, and you can figure it out who are they and how you manage those people. Ultimately, you are looking for bliss, your peace of mind. But if you invest in these people more, you are going to suffer in the long term. That's why maybe you are playing with it, maybe you know how to do the human interaction, you're flirting, you're doing all the stuff, but you know when to take the right call, when to take the right decision. That is very important. Keno ami bollam? Let me just go through today's session, and quickly I will wrap it up in half an hour. I will try to. Communication research, especially in India, and আমি যতটা দেখেছি, if you tell me, in the last few years, as I was mentioning in the last session, যে একটু সোসাইটি মনে হচ্ছে যেন স্ট্যাগনেন্ট হয়ে গেছে, অর যেন একটু পিছিয়ে গেছে, বিকজ আমরা প্রায় 100 বছর এগিয়ে ছিলাম ইন দ্য লাস্ট 7 years 8 years এগোতে। তারপরেও যখন আমরা কাজকর্ম করেছি, কথাবার্তা বলেছি, উই ওয়ার অ্যাহেড অফ টাইম। বাট ওয়েন আই এম লুকিং অ্যাট থিংস, তো এবং এটা অনেক সময় প্রিজাম্পচুয়াস মনে হয়, বাট ইট ইজ নট, বিকজ আমরা হয়তো এক্সপ্লিসিটলি মার্কেটিং করি না, মেনশন করি না, বাট উই নো হোয়াট দ্য রিয়েল থিং ইজ। বাট জাস্ট ফরগেট ইট, বিকজ উই ডোন্ট নিড টু মেনশন ইট। বাট কেন আমরা বলছি সোসাইটি নয় স্ট্যাগনেন্ট আছে, নয় পিছিয়ে গেছে, সেটা আমি বুঝবো কি করে? কমিউনিকেশন রিসার্চ। এবার ইফ ইউ ওয়ান্ট টু নো অ্যাবাউট রিসার্চ, কেন রিসার্চ করব? রিসার্চ নামটা সময় এতভাবে ডিস্টর্টেড ডেফিনেশন তৈরি হয়েছে, সবাই বলছে হাইপোথিসিস, স্যাম্পলিং, এই সবগুলো করবো, না হলে সেটাকে রিসার্চ বলা হয় না, লিটারেচারে কন্ট্রিবিউট করতে হবে, ইন আ ওয়ে উইচ ইজ রাইট অলসো। কিন্তু রিসার্চ একটা এক্সপ্লোরেটিভ রিসার্চ একটা হয়, যেটা আমি এক্সপ্লোরেশন করছি, রিসার্চ করি। রিসার্চ একটা ব্রডের, একটা আমব্রেলার মধ্যে অনেক কিছু পড়ে, তার মেথোডোলজি পড়ছে, ইনস্ট্রুমেন্টস হচ্ছে, ডিজাইন করছি আমি, প্রবলেম স্টেটমেন্টস করছি, রিসার্চ কোয়েশ্চেন করছি। যদি আমি একটা মেথোডোলজি করি, অনেক দিন থাকে, অনেক ধরনের টেকনিক হয়, একটা হাইব্রিড অ্যাপ্রোচ উইচ ইজ বেটার ওয়ে, বিকজ রাইট নাও আমাদের ডাইনামিক প্রবলেমস উই আর গেটিং। সো ফর ডাইনামিক প্রবলেম সলভিং উই নিড টু গো টুয়ার্ডস আ হাইব্রিড অ্যাপ্রোচ। কেউ হয়তো এক্সপ্লোরেটরি করতো, কেউ হয়তো পারপাসফুলি একটা স্ট্র্যাটেজিক রিসার্চ করছে একদম প্ল্যান্ড ওয়েতে, কেউ হয়তো আনপ্ল্যান্ড ওয়েতে একটু ফিল্ড থেকে নিচ্ছে, একটু কেসেস থেকে নিচ্ছে, থিওরিজ থেকে নিচ্ছে। দ্যাট ইজ দ্য ওয়ে ফরওয়ার্ড, বিকজ আমাদের ডাইনামিক প্রবলেমস এত এসে গেছে যে স্ট্যাটিক একটা ওয়েতে উই ক্যানট সলভ দোজ প্রবলেমস। মাল্টিপল পার্সপেক্টিভস থেকে দেখতে হবে, উই ক্যানট জাস্ট সলভ ইট উইথ ওয়ান পার্টিকুলার পার্সপেক্টিভ। সো হোলিস্টিক অ্যাপ্রোচ ইজ রিকোয়ার্ড। তাহলে কি হচ্ছে, আমরা হয়তো ক্রিয়েটিভ প্রবলেম সলভিং, ডিজাইন থিঙ্কিং, এগুলো নিয়ে যখন কথা বলছি, we can figure out greater planning processes, we can figure out great solutions, even ওই alternatives যে আছে আমার সলিউশনের মধ্যে আছে, তার মধ্যে কোনটা কতটা ক্রিয়েটিভ, কোনটা কতটা এফিশিয়েন্ট, we can figure out all these things। যার জন্য একটু ব্রডার পার্সপেক্টিভ থেকে, ব্রডার কনটেক্সটে, মাল্টিপল ভিউজ, মাল্টিপল লেন্সেস, বা লেন্সেস বলবো না, মাল্টিপল পার্সপেক্টিভস থেকে বা মাল্টিপল পয়েন্টস অফ ভিউ থেকে দেখলে উই ক্যান come into a greater conclusion also। সেখান থেকে হয়তো আমরা ছেকে অন্য জায়গায় চলে গেলাম। বাট কামিং ব্যাক টু দ্যাট, research and analysis, বা research and development, I think I have given the name research. You talk about research, analysis and development will come. We have created a separate playlist for that. So if you are going towards a deeper exploration of research, go to that. এখানে আমরা যেটা করছি, which is communication research, you can take a methodology, you can take a respondent choosing style, you can take a process with which you can talk to the respondents, you can get the feedback from the respondent, whatever be the scenario. Questionnaire design you can get, sampling methods you can get, you can under primary or secondary sources you will go through, you can get that, books, or you can interview people, focus group, ethnographic research. You can go through all those processes, which I will talk about, or I have already talked about in that particular playlist. Communication research আমি কেন বলছি, because it requires particular skill sets also. অনেক সময় যখন আমরা, যার জন্য সোশ্যাল সায়েন্স, ন্যাচারাল সায়েন্সের মধ্যে একটা বড় ডিবেট আছে, বাট আই থিঙ্ক ইউ গো বিয়ন্ড দ্যাট ডিবেট অ্যান্ড ইউ লুক টুয়ার্ডস ইট with a broader context. কেন হচ্ছে? বিকজ নন ভার্বাল কমিউনিকেশন ইজ আ বিগ পার্ট। অনেক সময় আমরা হয়তো ফেস ভ্যালু বা ওয়ার্ডস এর উপরে উই আর জাস্ট বেসড, উই আর choosing things based on words, whatever is spoken, whatever we are লিসনিং টু, সেটা যখন আমরা করি তখন কি হচ্ছে, আমাদের রিসার্চটা কিন্তু কমপ্লিট হচ্ছে না। বাট ইফ ইউ ডেভেলপ দ্য সেন্স, স্পিরিচুয়ালিটির সাথে অনেকটা লিঙ্ক আছে এবং নিজের ডেভেলপমেন্ট, আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ডিং পিপল, পল একম্যান ফেস রিডিং বলে একটা কাজ করেছিল, ইউ ক্যান গো বিয়ন্ড দ্যাট অলসো, ইউ ক্যান রিড দ্য অরাস অ্যান্ড ভাইবস অলসো, উইচ আই ক্যান রিড, অ্যান্ড দের আর সো মেনি আদার থিংস, দ্য মোর দ্য বেটার ইট ইজ, সাটল কমিউনিকেশনগুলো ইউ ক্যান আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড। তাতে কি হয়, ইউ ক্যান গো বিয়ন্ড দ্য ওয়ার্ডস। তো তাতে কি হচ্ছে যে আমি সেটা হেল্প হচ্ছে, সেটা রিসার্চে যখন আসছে আমি মেথোডোলজি নিয়ে কাজ করছি, বাট কমিউনিকেশনে আমি কেন বলছি, বিকজ দের ইজ মানে it's so hard to trust people around us nowadays. Many people complain, আমার কাছে যখন many people come to me for suggestions or they come to me for advice, they come to me to share something, and একটা কমন জিনিস যেটা আমি সব জায়গাতে দেখি, যে ট্রাস্টের একটা বড় ইস্যু হয়ে গেছে। কাকে আমি ট্রাস্ট করব? একে আজকে ট্রাস্ট করছি, কালকে সে আমায় বিট্রে করছে, সো কাকে আমি ট্রাস্ট করব? এইটার জন্যই আমি ইনভেস্টমেন্ট মাইন্ডসেটটার কথা বললাম, কতটা আমি ইনভেস্ট করব, কিভাবে আগে থেকে বুঝবো লোককে। ইট টেক্স আ লট টু আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড আ ওম্যান অর আ ম্যান অর আ হিউম্যান বিং, বিকজ তার জন্য এমপ্যাথি দরকার হয়, কম্প্যাশন দরকার হয়, লাভ দরকার হয়, এবং সেটার এত ডিস্টর্টেড ডেফিনেশনস তৈরি হচ্ছে, ইউ উইল সে ওয়ান থিং, পিপল উইল কাম ব্যাক উইথ 100 different things, and there is a lot of confusion, there is a lot of noise, and unfortunately the communication is not happening. There is a lot of noise, time is passing, time is getting wasted, so ultimately no communication is happening. যার জন্য আমাদের কি করতে হবে, অনেক সময় আমরা হাত ধরে একে অপরে বসে রইলাম, আমরা তাতেই আই লাভ ইউ বলতে পারি বা আই কেয়ার ফর ইউ এটা বলতে পারি, রাইট? তো তার জন্য আমাদের অনেক সময় এক্সপ্লিসিটলি হয়তো আই লাভ ইউ বলতেও হয় না। কেন আমি বলছি কমিউনিকেশন রিসার্চ? when we really understand all those things, we can write great characters, we can talk about great conflicts, we can talk about great stories, great moments, great situations, and in every aspect, cinematography, art design, production design, art direction, production design, makeup, costume, hairstyle, whatever you talk about, in each and every aspect we can bring something more to the work, or to that discipline, or to that literature, whatever be the thing, script writing থেকে শুরু করে ultimately making the entire movie, we can bring so much subtle nuances and all these things. If we understand it, we appreciate it, we know what to write about, we know what to direct, we know what to appreciate, we know how can we improvise, how we can use the lenses so that it can capture a particular thing. সবকিছু একসাথে হয়, it's a very holistic approach, you know. That's why cinema is such a beautiful thing, so many things are happening. যদি আমি মিডিয়া অ্যান্ড এন্টারটেনমেন্টের আদার জায়গাগুলো ধরি, টিভি ধরি, রেডিও ধরি, প্রিন্ট মিডিয়া ধরি, ম্যাগাজিনস, নিউজ পেপার্স ধরি, নিউ মিডিয়া, ডিজিটাল মিডিয়া ধরি, প্রত্যেক, যেটা আমি বারবার বলছি, ইচ মিডিয়াম তার একটা ক্যারেক্টারিস্টিক্স আছে, মিডিয়াম স্পেসিফিসিটি উই টক অ্যাবাউট, সেই অনুযায়ী আমি হয়তো আমার কমিউনিকেশনটাকে ডিজাইন করে সেরকমভাবে করছি। সিনেমাতে আমার একটা খুব বড় অ্যাডভান্টেজ, যেখানে আমি সবকিছু ইউজ করতে পারি। একটা টিভির একটা মোমেন্ট আমি ওই সিনেমার মধ্যে দিতে পারি, সেখানে আমি টিভির ক্যারেক্টারিস্টিক্স থেকে দেখাতে পারি। হয়তো ছোট্ট একটা সিনে ন্যাচারালি আমি দিয়ে দিলাম, বাট সেটার মধ্যে হয়তো বিরাট একটা, ওই টিপ অফ দ্য আইসবার্গের মতো, ওইটুকুনি আমার একটা সিনে, মেবি আই এম শোয়িং 30 সেকেন্ডস ইন আ স্ক্রিন, বাট তার মধ্যে হয়তো একটা টিপ অফ দ্য আইসবার্গ, নিচে যে ডেভেলপমেন্টটা রয়েছে, পার্সোনালিটি বলি, আমার হিউম্যান ইন্টারাকশন, হিউম্যান ডাইনামিক্স আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ডিং, আমার এন্টায়ার থিং, দ্য বিগ থিং, কসমিক নলেজ বলি, ইনফাইনাইট উইজডম, হোয়াট এভার উই টক অ্যাবাউট, we can connect to that within these 30 seconds. So that 30 seconds of screen time, it's a big thing. স্পেস অ্যান্ড টাইম উই আর টকিং অ্যাবাউট। সেই 30 সেকেন্ডে আমি কি রাখবো, সেই 30 সেকেন্ডে হাউ মেনি ফ্রেমস আই নিড টু কাট, এডিটিং এ আমি কতটা বাদ দেবো 30 সেকেন্ডস এর মধ্যে, ওয়েদার আই শুড কিপ দ্যাট 30 সেকেন্ড পার্ট অর নট, এই ডিসিশন মেকিং, সেটার জন্য অনেক কিছু লাগে। Why I am talking about all these things? If you understand communications research, if you go through that process, if you take your journey, if you do that exploration, all these things come natural to you. You are doing all those techniques and tricks, you are reading books, you are doing so many things, you are interacting with people, you don't need to do anything. Social media you don't have to go to, because you have such a rich life. You are continuously exploring, higher pursuit, learning, and this is something you enjoy. You don't need to explain it to anyone, right? If that person can understand, well and good, otherwise you don't have to explicitly explain. Such a great life. From that place, when you're writing characters, people are enjoying that because you are authentic to yourself. When you are directing that, people are getting that. Casting in mode, you are casting people in such a way, people are getting that. So it is coming from that big thing. You cannot you cannot make it narrow. Narrow hole ki hoche, people will understand that, people will who love you, they will tell you that there is something wrong. Maybe you haven't figured it out, maybe you have deviated for a while, but you can still come back, right? So that's why we need great people, we need great friends, we need great company around us যারা হয়তো explicitly, well, I want to be friends, I am a fan. We are not talking about all those things. Naturally, when you come to me, okay, tell me, how can I help? I can just listen to you. That can be of great help also. You can trust those people. That is something earned, you know. So we earn it over the time, not by manipulative tricks, because eventually it will fade away. কেন এত কথা বলছি? আমি একটা অনেক কিছু বলতে পারি, কমিউনিকেশন রিসার্চ নিয়ে, মেথোডোলজি নিয়ে বলতে পারি, সবকিছু বইতে আছে। Everything is in the books. What you don't get in the books, what you should know, what you should be taught in schools also, সেখানে একটা গ্যাপ তৈরি হয়েছে। The gap is there because কেন আমি বারবার বলছি, when you understand a bit of strategy, when you understand a bit of higher techniques, higher level techniques, you understand a bit of tactics, you understand a bit of operational things, so you can understand the whole thing, you know, and something more than that. So you can take a decision which can mean a lot, but maybe few people are understanding it, many people are not understanding it. But কি হয়, operational level একটা বিশাল একটা গ্রুপ তৈরি করার জন্য, to create a group of operational people, there are many tricks and techniques going. How can you do that? Again, I will mention that, and then I will just go back to the concise approach of my teaching or discussion, whatever it is. It is more of a discussion, it is not teaching, because these are the things I'm not teaching you. This is the thing, this is the sampling process, a stratified sample. You are going for clustering, you are going for a quota sampling, you are going for a convenience sampling. I'm not teaching you all those things. I'm teaching you what it means. Convenience sampling, will it give you the right data? That is the question you get asked in the interview also, or this is the question you should think about while doing something. Convenience sampling, if I do the convenience sampling, is it the right sample for my understanding? যাকে হাতের সামনে পেলাম তাকেই কোয়েশ্চেন করে আমি একটা কিছু বলে ফেললাম, সেটাই কি আলটিমেট থিং? না, I am just trying to justify a particular point. Understand that. স্ট্র্যাটিফাইড স্যাম্পল করলে কি হবে, স্নোবল স্যাম্পল করলে কি হবে, প্রত্যেক কটার একটা মিনিং আছে, ক্যারেক্টারিস্টিক্স আছে। কেন ওই স্যাম্পলিংটা তৈরি হয়েছে, ওই নামটা দেওয়া হয়েছে, প্রসেসটা তৈরি হয়েছে, আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড দ্য রিজন বিহাইন্ড ইট, then you can do greater stuff, you know. And when you look at life, when you go through life with awareness, with keeping your eyes and ears open, then you can understand all those things naturally. You don't have to read a book also. What happens, maybe you know 2 or 3 things, you know about 2 or 3 things by just observation, by just living life. But when you are going through a book, maybe somebody has gone through 5 or 6 other processes. So you are getting to know, okay, during that during those 2 or 3 processes, I went through these conflicts, but they have given it a name, they have figured out the thing. Then you can relate to it. But in the last few years, distorted definition, you already have it, you don't need a name for that. You have realized it, you already have it. Many years ago it was already there. If you can add something to it, then it makes more sense. Even it is in terms of criticism, if you can add something, because criticism where we can get deviated, even if you know the theory, what are the possible pitfalls, that is also of very help, because many people are using those pitfalls. So if you know that, you know how to take the preventive measures, you know how to do better management, all those things. So that is why an outsider is not a Trojan horse. So when you understand, somebody cannot convince you that every outsider, syllogism, I have to talk about syllogism and subset and said all these things. Every outsider is not a Trojan horse. What is the meaning? What is the concept of a Trojan horse? You have to understand that also. Each and every outsider is not a Trojan horse. Maybe particular people or some kind of people, they are Trojan horse. They are convincing you that Trojan horse is outsider. These are the things, that's why I'm explicitly mentioning it, because sometimes we don't think about all these things much. I never did, but I have gone through these people. I have looked at few people like these, and I have gone through a tremendous amount of research. So whenever I am speaking about something, whenever I'm talking about something, it means a lot. You can choose to accept it or you can choose to discard it, but When you know that, it helps. But again, I will tell you, there is another pitfall. These people want to impose something so that you know about them, so that you think about them. That is also an indirect marketing technique or marketing technique. They talk about all these things, they talk about their tricks and techniques so that you get persuaded by the tricks and techniques. Eventually, you give in. So you know everything, but it's ultimately you come to the strength of character. That is part of basic education, which many of them don't have. Why? When you know this is the right thing to do, I know better than anyone else. That is also coming from a great character or greater decision making thing. Now, if you know that you might consult someone because somebody can take a better decision, that is also of great leadership. Those are the things you need to learn. লাইফে কেন হচ্ছে? Because when you do all those things, when you write the characters, it will show. When you do the acting also, it will show. And when people will look at you, people will look at the script, the story, or everything regarding a movie, they will learn so much. Cinema used to be like that. You look at the golden age of Hollywood, you look at the great movies. Many people were learning so much from the movies itself. They learned filmmaking, they learned about human beings, they learned about life through movies. Many people did it. I did it myself. I am so grateful to movies because I learned so much from movies. Then I came to sociology. Explicitly, I went to sociology. But before learning sociology, the inspiration, the motivation I got, it was from movies or from human interaction, human dynamics. I used to go to a coffee store. I used to go to, I used to sit in a cafe. I used to look at people, human interaction, whether I am with some people, whether I am with my friends or not. I always used to look at people, not like a creep. Many people do that too. But those communications that mean a lot. Especially if you are a writer, people will think that you are a madman, but you are there. Francis Ford Coppola used to do that with the typewriter. He is going to a cafe and typing stuff. That's a great thing, as a writer, because you are being genuine to your writing, you're genuine to your words, you are genuine towards that communication, human interaction, human dynamics. No phony marketing can take you away from that. So we learn so much from movies. Then you can pursue to take sociology as a course, psychology, social sciences, whatever you do, media entertainment. But cinema inspires you. Characters, the stars, they inspire you. That should be for a reason. That should not be taken for granted. And it has been taken for granted for a while. That's why explicitly few things need to be talked about. Right? So let me straight away go to the next thing. I think it will be 1 hour because I need to talk about few stuff. Otherwise, and the thing is, whatever I am talking about, let me just talk about this and then I will go to the discussion. অনেকে আছে, অনেকে 10 ঘন্টা 12 ঘন্টা মানে দেখে অনেকে ইন্সপায়ার্ড হচ্ছে, which I am very happy because I cannot do everything myself. If anyone is getting inspired by this, which is the idea, if you are going to do something on your own, I am very happy. And if you need any help in that, just write back to me, call me, text me, or mail me. In the about section, you have the mail ID. Straight away, you write back to me. It will be totally confidential. You can trust that. It will be totally confidential. It will be between you and me only, and we can help each other out. So there is nothing like that I am not going to help you. I am giving a lot of content because I need to give it. If I wait for something else, I think people will misuse few things. That's why media and entertainment, it's a need of the hour. It needs, especially in India and few other places, aro beshi needta ache. In few other places where people are more educated boli, or average people jodi boli, বা তাদের কালচারাল সেন্সটা যদি আরো হয়ে থাকে, তাহলে সেখানে আমার হয়তো জায়গাটা একটু কম সেটা করার। ইন্ডিয়াতে কি হচ্ছে, সাইন্টিফিক্যালি দারুণ হচ্ছে, কালচার সবাই হচ্ছে খুব ভালো, মানে প্রত্যেকে ভালো মানুষ, গ্রেট পিপল। বাট মিডিয়া অ্যান্ড এন্টারটেনমেন্টে ফর লং টাইম একটা বায়াস তৈরি হয়েছে, এবং এখানে যখন তারা এই ট্রিক্স অ্যান্ড টেকনিক্স গুলো একেবারেই জানে না, দে আর টোটালি ইগনোরেন্ট অ্যাবাউট দ্যাট. Many people have been prey of one person can be easily a prey to those gimmicks and techniques and manipulation. right? Because some people are based on those skill sets. So হঠাৎ করে আমার সামনে এলো, এসে একটা কিছু বললো, আমি ভাবলাম সেই যখন বলছে ঠিকই হবে, বিকজ আই এম অনেস্ট, আই থিঙ্ক আই এক্সপেক্ট দ্য পার্সন টু বি অনেস্ট অলসো, বাট দ্যাট পার্সন হ্যাজ কাম উইথ অ্যানাদার ইন্টেন্ট অর মোটিভ, সেটা আমরা সবসময় ভাবি না, যার জন্যই এত কিছু বলার। বাট হোয়াট ডু ইউ ওয়ান্ট টু বি রিমেম্বার্ড অ্যাজ, ইউনো? আচ্ছা, এটা দিয়ে স্টার্ট করেছি, হোয়াট ডু ইউ ওয়ান্ট টু বি রিমেম্বার্ড অ্যাজ, ইজন্ট দ্যাট কমিউনিকেশন? দ্যাট ইজ কমিউনিকেশন। এবার সেটা কি হচ্ছে, যেটা আমি বললাম যে অপারেশনাল লেভেল বলি বা একদম নিচের লেভেলে, বটম লেভেল অফ দ্য পিরামিড যদি আমি বলি, তাহলে আমাদের টুলস এন্ড টেকনিক্স শেখানো হয়, টুলস অফ কমিউনিকেশন এন্ড অল দ্য স্টাফ, যেখানে আমি ব্র্যান্ডিং বলতে পারি, হোয়াট ইজ দ্য ওয়ে আই ক্যান টেক ব্র্যান্ডিং অ্যাজ আ ওয়ে, advertisement, integrated marketing, communication, marketing. There are many things under the integrated marketing communication umbrella. You have so many things. Personal selling. It can be email selling. It can be mobile text selling. It can be branding, advertisement, and many other things. Integrated marketing communication. PR. It can be PR also. So all those things come under integrated marketing communication, where everything is integrated, but ultimately you are making a communication. But what do you want to be remembered as? Suppose you have the tools in place, you have the money, you have the tools, and you are investing in those tools. কি হচ্ছে প্রসেসটা কি, কমিউনিকেশন রিসার্চের কেন ইম্পর্টেন্ট, আই উইল টক অ্যাবাউট দ্যাট, বিকজ প্ল্যানিং অ্যান্ড রিসার্চ, এইটা নিয়ে আমি কথা বলবো। প্ল্যানিং অ্যান্ড রিসার্চটা একটু হায়ার লেভেলের আমি কথা বলছি। রিসার্চটা যারা করছে খুব হাই লেভেল একটা থিঙ্কিং, একাডেমিক একটা থট আছে, বা হয়তো এক্সপ্লোরেশন একটা মাইন্ডসেট আছে। প্ল্যানিং যারা করছে তাদের মধ্যে হয়তো একটু স্ট্র্যাটেজি ম্যানেজমেন্ট একটু রয়েছে। Eventually you are delegating those tasks to people who are well acquainted with all those skills or tricks and techniques, whatever I am talking about. They know how to do the branding, they know how to do the advertisement. You talk to them, they know how to write a persuasive line or persuasive thing, whichever way it is possible. They know how to do that, they are trained with that, so that's their basic nature, that's the part of their character. But when you don't do the communication research and planning, then you think that that is an authentic communication. So many relationships get broken for that, and many things happen because they are mostly, their training is regarding, they are using the tools of marketing, communication, and it is supposed to break the society, it is supposed to break the family, it is supposed to break the friendship, it is supposed to break the social fabric and the relational fabric. So that is the idea, they are trained with that, well trained. So you don't think about that. What you need to do is you need to do the communication research. What happened? I thought there might have been something wrong. Was I right or was I wrong? That person is telling that I was wrong. I may have thought I was wrong, but what was the reason behind that? Whenever you are thinking, you can look at all those questions. Don't go too much into all those things. It can be very boring at times, but when you are learning from that, it can be a liberating experience. Liberating experience, because you're learning, you're growing, you're doing it with a growing mindset, you're moving forward, you're not becoming regressive, but you're learning from the past, you're learning from the past mistakes. Why? What is the reason? Maybe another person can come to your life in the future. Tomorrow someone else can come to your life. You won't be doing the same mistakes. If those people are triggered by someone else, if those people are triggered by some situations, maybe somebody else has created those situation, you won't be bothered by that, because you know how to deal with all those things. You have seen it before, now you are in a stronger place, right? So what you can do is, you will be understanding this also, whether that person is genuinely doing it or he or she has been triggered by someone else. Then you know how much to go invest in that communication, or more than investing, because in love we don't think about investment, we just do stuff, it happens. But we will get all those cues, non-verbal communication, all those nuances. That is something you can do, and if you do that, it will make you a better artist also, a better storyteller, a better artist, a better performer, and even better, you know how much to take from that for a particular performance and how to show, how much to take from that in a particular song, how to sing, how to write the song, how to create a music for that. In each and every way, you will play with it. That is very creative. That is so much fun. This is what it is supposed to do. Acting process, singer process. It will make you better artists. It will make you better individuals. So that's why research is very helpful. Even if you are given a responsible role, a great role, you should do your research. That And now it depends. One director can tell you a lot of things. This is the way you will do the research, precisely particular workshops, and precisely these are the ways. But there are many directors who can do great stuff, who can direct a great way, and they will give you a lot of opportunities to play. Maybe they will give you hints, but you will do it yourself. So depending on the situation, depending on the director, but you can learn from each and everything. This person is bad, this person is good. That is a very bad mindset. I think personally, I think this is a very bad mindset. Many people, few people try to sell me that. I don't buy that, because that is also manipulative communication. But I think you can learn from each and everyone, the good or bad. But what decision you are going to take, that is your responsibility. So that's why that is one thing. And lack of relationship, gift of communication, and you can figure out whether somebody is able to, not able to make a relationship, not able to love, but that person has a lot to show. Maybe that person's intent or motive is totally different. They are trying to fill the gap with different gimmicks and tricks and techniques. But ultimately, if you think about love, you should think about love. If you talk about love, you should talk about love. Now, if you're selling love, that's a different thing altogether. That's why it shows when you actually understand love, when you talk about love, if there is a gap in between, it shows. Now, understand, when you're doing acting, great acting, at least the moment, the truthful moment, even if you're lying creatively, acting or artistry, all these things give us opportunities. Even performance also, singing on a stage, in every way you can use lies creatively. You can find your moment of truth. প্রত্যেকের different processes থাকে, but it doesn't mean that you are a very bad human being. Whenever you are communicating with someone, you're always lying, you're always selling. That is not the thing. For that particular thing, that is also management part. Your manager should tell you that. Your representatives sometimes, or mostly your managers or mentors or coaches, it's a job of the coaches also. They will tell you what to see, what to go through, what training to go through. There are many instances, but it is best if you take that final call. And this is not something bad. It has been there for a while, and this is the thing, this is the universal truth. That's why media and entertainment, it gives us a lot of opportunities. Whenever we are writing stuff, it doesn't have to be the truth always. You can write stuff, it can be fiction, it can be non-fiction, whatever it is, who cares? It's a great story. It has a great opportunity for performance, and you live up to the performance when you're doing the acting, when you're doing the singing, whatever be the thing. But it doesn't matter that you are becoming that villain in your real life always, and you are making it an excuse for doing the wrong stuff. That is avoiding responsibility. And maybe you want to do the bad things, you are just looking for an excuse, and film, media, entertainment, that is giving you that excuse. That's a bad thing. So do your stuff, understand relationships, love, and when you are performing, bring all those elements, the good and bad, so that you know how to seduce, you know how to flirt, you know how to attract. One relationship might go wrong, but that doesn't mean that you have to go through a series of wrong relationships. Learn from it, know what to choose, how to go through the relationship. Everything is a learning. Everything, each and everything is a learning experience. So let me go to communication, and that is also part of communication research. That is very important. You do it for yourself, not for anyone else. Then when you want to pursue the audience in a better way, through your work, through your performance, then you can do the audience research also. So I will talk about two kinds of research today: market research, audience research. Is it the same or is it different? You figure it out, but I will give you hints. Audience যখন আমি রিসার্চ করছি, market research, what like mindset you are doing, that is also important. So audience research যখন আমি করছি, মেবি আমি একটা পারফরমেন্স করব, আমার অডিয়েন্স কি ছিল, এবার অডিয়েন্স কি হবে মার্কেটিং টার্মেই বলছি, সিন্স উই আর টকিং অ্যাবাউট কমিউনিকেশন। ডেমোগ্রাফি কি ছিল, জিওগ্রাফি কি ছিল, সাইকোগ্রাফি কি ছিল, অত কিছু যদি আমি নাও জানি, অ্যাটলিস্ট জিওগ্রাফি। বিকজ কেন হচ্ছে, when we are performing or we are giving a speech, whatever be the thing, আমরা তো এখানে একটা স্পিচ করছি যেটা ইজ মানে এমন ভাবে আমরা বলছি বা ন্যাচারালি আমরা এমন ভাবে বলি, we can go to any place and people can relate to it. So that is how we have developed ourselves, or few people have done that. I can talk about myself. I have done my like built myself that in that way. বাট তা সত্ত্বেও যখন আমি হয়তো জিওগ্রাফিক্যালি ফিজিক্যালি সেই স্পেসটায় যাচ্ছি, তখন হয়তো আমার সেইটার জন্য ওই টাইম স্প্যান বা ওই অডিয়েন্সের থেকে একটা মিউচুয়াল ব্যাক অ্যান্ড ফোর্থ কমিউনিকেশন হচ্ছে, তার জন্য হয়তো আমি সেরকমভাবে ট্রিক্স অ্যান্ড টেকনিক্স কিছু ইউজ করলাম বা কিছুটা চেষ্টা করলাম, যেটা নিয়ে আমি হয়তো কমিউনিকেশনটাকে একটু রিচ করলাম। কন্টেন্টটা সেইটাই রইলো, বা হয়তো আমি ন্যাচারালি চলে গেলাম, সেটার মধ্যে হিউমার, উইট, আ লট অফ থিংস সেটা এলো, আমরা সেটাই এনরিচিং একটা কমিউনিকেশন করলাম, ইট ক্যান বি। বাট যখনই আমি পারফরমেন্স করছি, থিয়েটারে বলি, সিঙ্গিং বলি, হোয়াট এভার ইট ইজ, প্রত্যেকটা জায়গার হয়তো অডিয়েন্স ডিফারেন্ট, ঠিক আছে? ওই পার্টিকুলার পারফরমেন্সটা আরেকটা পারফরমেন্সের থেকে ডিফারেন্ট হবে, সেই ভ্যারিয়েশনটা যে আমি জানি, ইট ইজ শোয়িং দ্যাট হাউ ওয়াইডেন্ড মাই পার্সোনালিটিস, রেঞ্জ আমার কতটা আছে, ঠিক আছে? তো ওই জন্য আমি বলছি কি, এইগুলো যদি আমি ক্রিয়েটিভলি একটা আউটলেট পেয়ে যাই না, তাহলে ফ্রাস্ট্রেশন ডিপ্রেশন না হয় কি হবে, বা আমার মনে হবে একটু এনার্জিটা আমার ডাউন আছে, সেটা না হয় কি হবে, আই ক্যান চ্যানেলাইজ অল দোজ থিংস ইন আ মাচ বেটার ওয়ে. I can write my stuff also. And that's a great thing. Whether you maintain a diary, whether you write stuff, you can do a lot of stuff. কেন আমি এটা বললাম? Because audience research, market research, if you are a businessman, maybe you were an artist, maybe now you are going towards the business thing. You want to do the business, you want to do the research. Research is a tremendously beneficial thing for business. So if you are becoming a producer, all those research will help you. So nothing is bad. তখন আমি maybe 10 years back I did a research. Now when I am doing my own business, I want to do it in that way, because I figured it out in a different way. I figured out stuff nobody else figured out. So that research is there. Now you have an opportunity to become a producer. You are bringing that research. That's why I'm explicitly mentioning all those things. Since we are talking about business here mostly, you are creating great products, you are training your workforce based on that research. So that's why it is so important. How can we make things right? Communication. Sometimes communication can make things right. Is cinema dependent on only communication research? That is a question you should ask. I was going to answer the question, or I was going to talk about that question, but I have already answered it or talked about it. So no further discussion on that. But understand, is cinema dependent on only communication research? Is acting dependent on only communication research? If that is the scenario, then somebody is selling, not telling, only selling. So what about the magic? What about the mystery? You understand what I'm talking about? Cinema, performance, music, whatever be the thing, art. What about that special thing? X factor, we call, sometimes people call it magic, that mystery thing. Something which is beyond description, which is in that intangible thing. You remember those moments, right? সেটার উপরে আমরা একটু ভাবি। এথনোগ্রাফিক রিসার্চ অনেক সময় হেল্প করে, সেটাও ডেমোগ্রাফিক, জিওগ্রাফিক এগুলোর মধ্যেই পড়ে। আরেকটা জিনিস যেটা আমরা দেখবো, when you are a businessman or when you are a more aware artist, I would say, media and consumer shift, that is also very important, which I have done myself. What I have done is, একটা হয় longitudinal study হয়, cross sectional study হয়. I will talk about all those things in the research part, or I think I have already talked about it. But longitudinal study যদি আমি একটা বলি, তো সেখানে মিডিয়া অ্যান্ড কনজিউমার শিফট কি ছিল, কেন হেল্প হয়? Many people will come to you to sell traditional and modern thing, these terms. It was the thing then, it is not the thing now, things have changed. These narratives you will be sold. That's why I need to mention all those things. Now how do you go through it? You have done your research, you are aware of that. So even if somebody is selling you that, you know how to listen to that and take the call yourself. You are in a more powerful position. So that's very important. That's why media and consumer shift, cultural shift, that is very important. What is driving the demand? Are you driven by the demand only? Are you driven by the consumer only? Or you can provide something which is beyond that demand, which is beyond that consumer. Maybe people don't know it yet. They don't have the vision. You as a director, you as an artist, you as a producer have that vision. So when you're creating that stuff, you're creating that offering to the marketplace, you are giving that offering to the marketplace, people are consuming it. If I talk about consumption, they are thinking, oh, was it possible even? Was it even possible? How could he or she do that? They will be mesmerized by that. You are an artist, a great celebrity. You are bringing things that is beyond their wildest dreams, imagination, right? So that's why communication research is very important. And something should be researched, audience and market both should be researched, uh, as an artist or as a business, especially as a businessman. Now, influence or get influenced by the society, another narrative. You influence or get influenced by the society. Now, with the good light or the right light, you can understand that. It sounds good, but who says it? Maybe the person who is saying it is a crook totally. Each and every moment in his or her life, he or she is a crook. Even if she says it, it sounds good, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter at all because it sounds good. Ignorance is power. Till the moment you don't know that he or she is a crook, then you are listening to that, oh, what a wonderful human being he or she is. At the moment you know that, everything will fall apart. So it's a question of time. So when we create a real life or characters, a plot or a narrative, it's an experience, as I just said. So we are telling stories, what to follow, what not to follow, rather to prevent. It should be a part of basic education, as I have already said. Morality, if I say, social justice, if I say, all these things are basic things you learn. More responsible citizens you are. You can be if you want. You can be if you want. Now, social roles and ideologies, because it's a question of ideology also, radicalism, extremism, subtle, in a very subtle way. It's a question of ideology in many instances, if you see. So, social roles, ideologies, and now media and entertainment, especially films or literature, writing, books. এখানে অপরচুনিটিটা আছে কি, you can use social roles and ideologies in a very creative way. But maybe some people are misusing that and they are doing it. It's not maybe, but the thing is whether you can reinforce, you can either reinforce or you can subvert. So if you are subverting it, what is the issue? You can go for a communication research. If you are reinforcing the social role, then what is the reason? Sometimes you get the feeling when you are like in touch with humanity, you get that feeling. You don't have to do the research also. So with me, what has happened is when I look at someone, when I it's a gift I have and I'm proud of it because I could help so many people with it. I could help myself with it. When I look at someone, or I can see potential, so I don't have to do the research at all. Some person, I can tell you this also, I am giving you the thing, 1:7. What I can look like, I maybe not even 1:7, it's much more than that. In one day I can look at someone and I can talk about things, I can know about things. That's a part of experience and something much bigger than that. Some person can take 365 into 7 days. 1 year, 365 days into 7 years, 7 days. Still they will figure out stuff. Still they will like to know stuff. They are not able to understand stuff. It is like that. If you really are in touch with humanity, you can take a decision just by looking or doing few understanding. You can take a decision in 1 day or in minutes or hours. For the sake of empathy, I am talking about 1 day, because maybe one thing is happening again and again. You are looking at it from different perspectives. In 1 day, you are reaching a judgment. Worst case scenario, you might take 1 month, 6 months, but people who are not understanding it, they might take 365 into 7 days to understand that particular thing, and they will still like to understand. So you are wasting your time, you will be wasting your time. Time waste, time pass. So you shouldn't invest at all, because it's their problem. They haven't done the thing, they haven't done the proper training, they haven't done the proper research. Maybe they have got something because of other reasons. But when you develop yourself, you can take better decisions like that. For some it can be days and months, but not like years. You cannot do the same mistake for years. I mean, it's a waste of life. So the audience তারা কি users হয়ে গেছে? That's a great question you should ask. So study of audience can be the beginning, because audience থেকে users, যদি হয়ে যায়, কনজাম্পশন আমি বলছি, তারা হয়তো কনজিউম করছে। সি দ্য থিং ইজ, যদি আমি নিউজকে কমোডিটি হিসেবে ইউজ করি, যদি নিউজকে আমি একটা কিছু যদি আমি কি করি, যদি একটা এমন একটা কিছু মানে, হোয়াট ডু ইউ সেল, সামবডি ইজ আস্কিং মেবি টু হিমসেলফ অর হারসেলফ, হোয়াট ডু ইউ সেল? I sell news. So an organization is created where they sell news like a product. It is supposed to be more than that, right? News is supposed to be more than that, much more than that. So when they are selling it, maybe you are using the term consumption, they are taking it from the marketing, but you have to understand that news and marketing, there has to be some difference in terms of objectivity, obviously, but it has a great social impact. As I just mentioned in the last session, media psychology and communication science, it is affecting people in a much greater way, much better way. So if you do your research well, you know the media psychology, the communication science, and things around it, you know that whatever you are doing, it means a lot to the society, especially when you are doing it from a responsible position. If still you are doing it wrong, then there is something wrong in you. Intentionally you are trying to harm the society or the civilization or humanity, whatever it is. So that's why people should raise their voice. তো সারা জীবন তারা শিখবে, হয়তো তাও শিখতে পারবে না। আরেকটা হচ্ছে কি, এক্সকিউজটা যেটা হয়, হি অর শি ইজ ডুইং ইট, এভরিবডি এলস ইজ ডুইং ইট, মেবি দ্যাট ওয়ান পার্টিকুলার পার্সন ইজ সেইং সামথিং রং, or maybe he or she is ahead of time, or saying something which is absolutely right. There is no bias, there is no manipulation. That's why it is sounding so unique. Is it trustworthy or not? You figure it out yourself. Don't listen to anyone. So outsider, one thing you should look at, outsider, right and wrong. Everything can be right and wrong, or there can be a range in between. Is it? Find out. Media and entertainment, acting gives you that opportunity. You can do all those, subtle things in acting or singing, whatever be the thing. Race, gender, discrimination, caste, state, very important. There is a thing called, this is a result of research, normalization of things. And that is not normalization, but normalization of an individual, normalization of a state. That means you are losing your diversity to particular fringe, to a particular set of people. That means you are losing your uniqueness, you're losing your individuality, you're losing your diversity, your empathy towards diversity, your consideration towards diversity, everything else, everything you're losing. Maybe you are just putting things into boxes, you're becoming so narrow. And that is not like a chameleon, that is not like water, be like water, you can change things. It's not like that. You are adapting, it's not like that. It is different. You are becoming narrow, if I say so. In one word, you are becoming narrow. Narrow means you can do so much, but either you can utilize the potential what you have, which is beyond anyone's imagination. You yourself know that you are the person who can take that decision, the potential that you have. You can have a huge potential, you can have a lot of potential, you can have the self-respect, self-worth, and you can believe in all those things. And or you can just do one thing, you can be narrow and you can crumble, you can limit your potential. You can be with people who are actually limiting their potential. You will be limiting your potential yourself. So ultimately you are not making a significant progress. You're not living a happy life. Not happy life, you don't have to always live a happy life. You can live a sad life and still create a lot from that, but you're not living, you're not making a progress. And maybe this is also a very important thing. Maybe for 10 years, I'm taking a span of 10 years. Maybe for 10 years you haven't made a single progress. But still, after 10 years, you can look at it, you can write a script. And that can mean a lot, because for 10 years, you are not just dead. You're living life, you're experiencing life. Then after 10 years, you are figuring out a script that is so great. That is an opportunity for so many great performance, above the line, below the line, in terms of casting, art direction, production design, whatever be the thing, acting, writing, mise en scène, everything, every way. It is giving you a great, everyone who is involved in the project, they are motivated by it, especially the actors. Because when you do the communication research, you will understand actor director যে রিলেশনশিপটা হয়, actor producer actor director relationship, it's a great relationship sometimes, not in every instance, but it can be a great relationship. especially actor director যে relationship, it's a great relationship. Now if you understand the communication research, I am explicitly mentioned because of media and entertainment industry, but sometimes you will figure out that you have done the research yourself many times in your life. You just didn't call it a communication research. But why I am saying this, maybe some people are coming from that particular discipline, and what specialization they are going to do, they are going to do communications research. How it will benefit them in many instances. How it will benefit them, you can just go through media engagement, public administration, governance, policy and decision making. The pillars of democracy. If I talk about democracy especially, it helps in autocracy also, by the way, but each thing will have its own thing. Autocracy, democracy, meritocracy, whatever be the thing. So infrastructure, ecosystem, policy, you can contribute so much. It's a question of contribution. So that's why sometimes we talk about big goals, big, hairy, audacious goals, smart goals. But you can raise your potential. You can raise your competence so that you can reach that. You can move towards that. You can bridge that gap. Research can help you a lot. Then you need to implement that. So research itself is not that helpful. Research, you are implementing it. Some others are implementing it in the right way. Because as I said, that one man's tool can be other man's weapon. So if you understand the research, if you understand the insights from the research, you know where it can go wrong and all that stuff. So infrastructure, ecosystem, policy. So good communication will make the pillars strong. Democracy, pillars of democracy, if I talk about. So good communication will make the pillars strong, and a bad will make it weaker. There will be more confusion and it will be weaker. What you can do apart from cinema, literary criticism you can do. Literature you are reading, maybe a movie you are watching, literary criticism you can do. Social philosophers you can be. Artists, educators, in every way, educators can be of great help if you do your research well. Why? You have already understood it. I don't need to explain it, but I will keep it for 1.5 hours because I tried to make it 45 minutes, but I think um, at least I should wrap this part in 1 hour, 1 hour and 1.5 hours. Then if I need, I can do another session, but I don't think in the case study part I will explain all those things. Otherwise I can just continue because it's so interesting. You need to know that. Some people stay in posh places. That can be a brand association. Maybe they have done their communication research. That place is posh. Many rich people live there. Many learned people, educated people live there. So some person, maybe whichever way it is, we will discuss that later, is finding a home there. Big home, maybe. So that big home is creating a communication. He or she is staying there is creating a communication. Now you, without your communication research, if you have been sold that for a long time, since that particular person, he or she lives there, belongs to this industry, belongs to this profession, belongs to that particular region, will have those characteristics that the other people are having. They or the few that fringe has played with this thing. Maybe they are totally different from that, or maybe depending on their status, the higher the status, they can be farther, or the lower this is also a great study of communication research, how they are communicating in their real life. We won't think about that. We can understand and why you cannot compare, because maybe one person has struggled a lot really in his or her life. After a while they are building a house, it has a lot of emotions around it, and maybe one person is buying an island also. We have done that. We have seen those stories. We have understood the nuances behind it, the emotions around it. But one particular person or few people, when we are looking at them, we are not feeling that. That is not there. That person is selling it, that person is marketing it, but we are not feeling that. What is the gap? That gap will give you an introduction to the communication research. And the more you do that, you will figure out stuff, right? And you will understand how you have been fooled for a long time, how you have been betrayed, because it's not a big deal for them. You have invested in that person, that was your fault. You will be blaming yourself for that, right? So that's why, just don't compare. Do your communication research properly. Sometimes buying a house, buying an island, going to space, just these are not narratives. Maybe one person is doing it because of exploration, achievement, contribution, many other things around business. These are the natural things when you listen to the stories. But one particular person, or maybe few people, they are using it as a marketing tool. So you are not quite getting it when you look at that person, when you look at their acting, when you look at their performances. You're not getting it. But when you are talking, maybe you are getting something. So they are maybe they haven't delved deep into those aspects. Whatever is required for talking, maybe somebody else have maybe somebody else has written the script, they are just reading it. If you ask questions, they will either smile or they will use some gimmicks or tricks, and you won't be having the time to ask them questions. So there are so many things they are playing with, all those tricks and techniques. But ultimately what is happening, uh, that comparison is harming a lot. Many people are just trusting things based on comparison, and eventually you are finding that something might be incredibly wrong. So that's why it's very important. Brand association is one thing with which you can start, and then you can figure out many things. Because brand association is one thing. You will look at the advertisements, you will see they are doing brand association. You will look at the events, you will see that they are doing brand association. So you will figure out that's their mindset, and then you can go through your communication research and you will find out how they have lived around brand association over the years, right? So there are so many things you can do. ভেতরের মনোভাব কি, কি চায়, কিভাবে কি ভাবে, সেটা লোকে বুঝতে পারছে না কম্প্যারিজনের উপরে যতটা চলছে। তো আমরা ভেবে নিই, we just think, we do our assumptions and interpretations, and assumption and interpretations is these are the two things mostly they play with. There are many other things, but assumptions and interpretations and confusion regarding it, this is where they play a lot. So that's why sympathy loop is there. So probability of selection, it can be the ratio of promise of reward, the reward you are expecting and efforts required. You can do a ratio. That's a very theoretical concept, but you will get all those feelings when you love humanity. But what else can I talk about? Right talent. How can we talk about right talent? So we need to build an industry or an ecosystem where revenue is fantastic. We need to have a lot of revenue. We are telling great stories also, but we are adding a lot of value to our consumers. If I talk about consumers, we are adding a lot of value to their lives. So the great brands, they have always added value to the consumers, to the audience, and that's why we love them so much. That's not something phony or manipulative. And so the right talent, যাতে ঠিক talent chance পায়, we have to think about that. Maybe the person who is vouching for right talent, they don't even understand what is right talent. They have written few stuff, they have practiced it for a long time, and they are talking about the right talent. They don't even understand what is right talent. Maybe they are totally against right talent. So ultimately, what is the impact? You are not getting great stories, you are not getting performance. So what is the impact? Maybe you're switching to other medium, maybe you're leaving theaters. So that is how it is connected, like a domino, or like a great thing, everything is connected. So you are the youth, maybe mostly the youth, they are losing that interest towards movies, right? They are going towards TV serials or soaps or maybe something else. So what is happening? What is behind the scene? People are not going to the theaters, and it used to be such a great thing to come to the theaters. So how you can bring people to the theaters? You can create a content, you know how to promote the content, you know how to present the content. There are so many things around it. The content, and you create value, you capture value, you deliver value. So you create the content, how you take the content to people, production, distribution, exhibition, and so many other things. You understand what I'm talking about? Take it to the right people, make a difference in their life. The content itself will make a difference. The way you present it, promote it, that itself will make a difference, right? And it will be a great thing. কিভাবে করব? Right talent. কেন right talent? Script. If you start from the script, সেই script selection, if we are respecting right talent, we are getting a great script, a great story. If you are doing the right casting based on a solid research, communication research, you are opening your doors for the right talents who can do proper justice to the role, you know. And sometimes we do it naturally, because as I am saying, that it is like flexing your muscles. Research, that my investment mindset, that research as a process, it is a journey. Sometimes strategically either you are doing, or you are doing as an exploration, unplanned way, but you are flexing your muscles. So in the process, if you really do it well, you are exploring stuff, you are enlightening, you are getting enlightened, you are learning a lot of things, and you are growing, as a human being, as an academic, you as a researcher, you are growing. Gross thing to subtle, and there are so many things. Your things are changing, you are realizing stuff, the life is making more sense, the world is making more sense, and you are delving into the deeper stuff very easily. You're looking at people, you are getting so much. So all those things will come in a moment. It's a process. When you're doing the research, you don't have to go through the entire thing again. You can choose to use less time, you can choose to use less resources gradually. Maybe initially you are taking a lot of resources, maybe initially you are using a lot of time, and you can just reduce it, right? Now the thing, your life can be based on that manipulation, or it can be based on liberation. So it is also a mindset. Now, traditional and modern. There is a debate, and there are debates, because why I am saying this. Traditional and modern. Many people are talking about traditional and modern. These are excuses, basically, because whenever they are out of their depth, they are using traditional and modern. We are having AR, VR, MR, new media technologies, new media, digital media, social media, ICT, we call it. ICT, it's of great use, immersive experiences, new media, new age. So why don't we use that technology to tell great stories, create greater experiences? Why don't we do that? Because there is a gap. The gap is not that prominent, it is not that tangible towards you or in front of you, because এই ম্যানিপুলেশন চলতে চলতে এমন একটা হয়েছে, you are buying a lot of stuff, but gradually you are not understanding a real problem. That's why research is so important. What is the problem statement? What is the research question? You are not understanding that. You are getting sold a lot of things, you are not doing the research. But when you actually do the, I have to solve it, or I have to create a better experience, I have to give a greater performance, then you can do a great research. You're driven by that thing, and that's a genuine thing inside you, and that is bringing so many things. Whatever you are doing, that's a part of your research or learning. You can keep a lot of it, you can keep a bit of it, but you are learning. Again, tip of the iceberg. The acting is what people are seeing, but there is so much behind it. That's why research is a mindset. When you are doing, it's a practice, it's a process. You're developing yourself as an individual, as a better artist, as a better educator. So it's continuous learning. The video games, very important. I will just come to that. So is it modern that we break a theater and replace it with a flat? You understand the situation. So maybe one person is telling you that this is a traditional thing, it won't work anymore, this is a modern thing, it will work, but they don't even know how to make it work. Maybe in one place they are using that thing, your association, brand association, or whatever be the thing, and they are what they're doing, they're breaking a theater. How can one artist break a theater? This is the basic question you should ask. They don't have any respect for acting. Maybe that person came from theater, they sell it, the story they sell, that that person came from theater, and they are actually behind breaking of the theater. But many people don't know because of that manipulation, and you are getting sold a lot of different things. Understand the thing. They don't have any respect for acting, they don't have any respect for cinema, performance, theater, arts, culture, whatever it is, because that's their basic nature. They don't have any respect. But when they have to sell something, they will come to you and they will tell that they came from theater, they did a lot of struggle. So you understand the congruence gap, you understand the manipulation, how it is harming the society. That theater will get broken. There will be a flat, and whatever happens in the flat, you don't even know. Maybe corruption, uh, uh, different businesses, which is actually harming the society. Anything can happen. But there is no respect for theater. But you still don't think about it. Why? Because you have not done the research. You haven't thought about it. You have been sold something. That's why, again and again, I'm mentioning, are you being sold something, or you have done your research? Even if somebody is telling you something, that can be a secondary research or secondary source of information. You look at that person, understand, build that skill set. When you look at that person, when you interact with that person personally, or use your tricks, flirting, games, whatever it is, you will get those nuances. That's a great thing as an artist, because that's why you understand human beings in a much better way. That's why you can give all those performances, those nuances. Then you can write great stuff also. You can interpret a script in a better way. The director don't have to say each and everything. When you read a script, you will come up with so many things, your own research. Daniel used to do that. Daniel Day-Lewis, when he did Lincoln, there's a story. He did a better research than Spielberg did. So, I mean, so those are the days, that when you see acting, Daniel is such a great actor. You talk about that, but you don't know the effort he is putting in that process. That's why communication research is very important. So maybe someone else's fault, your faults, or someone else's faults are or problems are imposed on others based on assumptions and interpretation. That is very important. So see an example for Daniel Day-Lewis. Daniel Day-Lewis, when he is doing the research, it is seen in the performance, because he is not lying in that. He has done the research. When he is into the character, he's totally into the character. We can see that from the performance. But gradually we know the stories, we learn about the process behind it, we know about the interaction, and we know that, okay, research played a significant role in that. One person can take a particular narrative from that, and they can sell that narrative, and plus celeb status. And if you are being sold that, you can take great, you can make great mistakes. Why? My communication research drives my acting. You believe that. When you look at the acting, you don't see the acting. Then why it is helping? Maybe they are distorting the narrative totally. They're giving you wrong information. They are doing a lot of manipulation. That is where they are doing the research. So there is a gap. That's why it is not showing in the acting, because they cannot lie properly. They don't know how to use it creatively. They always have to betray you. They are betraying themselves. They have to betray you. So it is not in the acting. The script is very shallow. So in every way, the product is very shallow. In each and every way, or in most of the ways, the product is shallow. But they are selling you the narrative that this is this and that. And there is a gap. Now, how do you understand there is a gap? You can feel it, then you can delve into a research. Especially if those people are around you and you figure it out stuff yourself. That's why it's so important. And maybe you can write a story which can address those problems, good and evil, what is the right thing to do, what is not the right thing to do. So you can contribute to society in a greater way also. So media and entertainment is giving you that opportunity. You're looking at human interaction situations and you are writing a story. People, when they will look at it, they will build their character, they will understand, they will learn a lot of things from that movie through the stories, through the characters, through plots, and whatever it is. Communication research in management, in offices, how you can see that you have delegated something to someone, there is no reply. Now you are not looking towards reply, but একটা ম্যানেজমেন্ট প্রফেশন, মেবি হায়ারার্কি টপে একটা সিইও বা সিএক্সও লেভেল এক্সিকিউটিভ, সি লেভেল এক্সিকিউটিভ, when they are doing something, রিক্রুটমেন্ট করা হয়েছে, পোটেনশিয়াল নেওয়া হয়েছে, এক্সপেক্টেড যে তারা কাজটা করবে, বাট আমি দেখতে পাচ্ছি না কেন? নিশ্চয়ই কোনো গ্যাপ আছে। হোয়াট ইজ দ্য গ্যাপ? ওয়্যার ইজ দ্য গ্যাপ? Why they are not able to do the work properly? You have to do the research. When you are a boss, right boss, when you are a good manager, the right kind of manager, then you are a mentor inside you also. Sometimes, most of the times, you should be a mentor also, because people being with you, they are looking at you, you are leading by example, they are picking a lot of cues, the way you are performing, you are walking the talk. And when you're doing your management, they are learning, especially the newcomers, the people who are starting to learn the job, they will look for leadership. They'll always look for leadership. And if you can mentor them, they can become a great star one day. They can become a great professional one day. So the right leadership can mean a lot. Initially, the kind of leadership you get in life, that can mean a lot. It can shape you as a better human being. But when you have the communication gap, কতটা হলো, how much is done, কতটা আরো করতে হবে, you don't even know, because you don't care for the communication. You don't care about the communication research. You don't care about কি বলবো, মানে লোকের সময়, you don't even think about the people who are working for you. So that's a mindset, and when you love humanity, when you care for people who are working with you or even around you or wherever you go to, you care for people, you care for humanity, you're always thinking about giving, helping people, helping humanity, helping yourself, self-respect, very important things. So communication gap, if there is a gap, you should go for a research. What is the gap? That is giving you an opportunity to do the research. And when you do the research, obviously you will get so many things from that. Better management, better administration, better society, better human being. You yourself as an individual can grow so much. It can be a life-changing performance experience for you. It can be a great learning experience for people, your team members, so many things, right? So that is one thing. So one person can have you can have some problem, you might have some problem, or you may lack the business sense, business acumen you might lack, the business sense you might lack. You can learn that, you can practice that, you can learn that, but you can make it a proper business again. But if your mindset is very bad about music, if your mindset is very bad about culture, if your mindset is very bad about cinema, art, theater, whatever be the thing, humanity in general, if your mindset is bad about that, then whatever you do, you are driven by that. So you won't even bother about learning the stuff, what is required, learning the business skill sets, the attitudes, behaviors, knowledge to gather, skill sets to develop, behavior to cultivate. You won't even think about that, because you are not bothered about that. You just want to do some harm. You just want to break that thing. You just want to harm that culture. You just want to harm that education, the entertainment, the business. So you are driven by that. Communication research, you can find that through that. So what is the problem? That is the thing you should ask. And you have been kept away from the problem, and you have been sold something different that is farther away from your requirement. ট্রেনিংটাই হয়তো পুরো উল্টো বা ভুল, যেটা আমার শিখতে হবে সেটাই হয়তো পুরো ভুল. So the gap is there, you have figured out the gap is there, and whatever training you are given, that is totally taking you away from the gap. You understand the research, how it can harm. So that's why if you understand it in a better way, you can do your research, and you can understand whenever somebody is manipulating using that research. That's why it is so important. But when you are doing all those things, you love humanity, you love cinema, you're passionate about cinema, so you are serious about talents also. You care for the talents. There is competition, that's okay, but you care for the talents. And when you care for the talents, you also care for the talent which is inside you. When you don't have any talent inside you, then you can do it easily. You don't care for the talents. That's the thing also. So there is no proper training in place. So many years, nobody even bothered to have a training in place. This school, that school, it's there, but they are not teaching the proper stuff. It is there, manipulating the rankings, manipulating this and that, charging some money, doing this and that, brand associations. But what is the talent potential recognized? Where is the talent potential recognized? What is the outcome of this? You didn't even think about all these things. It is going, it is going, it is going. What is the problem? Opportunity for research. Do that research, you will figure out talent, whether the talent has potential or not, how much training is needed. Sometimes it has happened like that. I can tell you in few places. Great people from India or abroad, great people, great scholars, they have given their advice or suggestions. This is the training or a set of training procedures that can build great actors, great individuals. And I know I can tell you about this more, but you will figure it out yourself in the next coming months. They didn't bother to have that training. They didn't bother to give that training. That means they don't have any respect for the talent, but they are charging money for that. They are charging money for that. They are saying that they are teaching this, but there is no potential recognized. There is no potential harnessed. There is no proper training in place. So what is happening? It's just a business. Dhanda, I call it. It is not a proper business also, because your mindset is flawed totally. That's why you are generating a lot of income, but no talent potential who can do substantial or great stuff. That is not getting generated. People who are trying to do that, you're trying to harm those people, you're trying to ignore those people. There are things, I listen to a lot of complaints and people talk about all those things. That's why it's a problem of the mindset, and that mindset can drive a culture. It can be a great culture, it can be a bad culture, but it starts with small things. Gradually it gets picked up by a lot of people. That's why if you create a great movie out of great research or your communication research, you can present things in a proper way with the content, not the shallow content you are presenting in a grand way. It doesn't make much sense. You're just selling your stardom, you're just selling your crappy ego. When you have a content and you are doing great promotion, great presentation skills, then it means a lot, because eventually people will find out. The more people will understand, the more people will find out. Now you cannot keep people in darkness and you will sell stuff. As long as they are in darkness, they will try to consume those things, and you will think that you are a great seller. So that is not proper business also, So that's the thing you don't care for. And in the modern industrial evolution, if I talk about, there's a lot of customer centricity. So if I talk about the business language, customer centricity is a big deal. If you don't think about the customer, then God help you. General mass communication, where you can apply the research. Again, general communication, mass communication, journalism, PR, and advertising, integrated marketing communication. Again, research and theory, you can apply all these things. And smart goals I talked about. Okay, communication plans and communication research. It can be very back and forth. You are doing your communication research, you are doing your plans, skill sets and strategy. Ki dorkar seta holo. And if this is the way, the next part is just used in a different way. The operational level, the tools of communication, anybody can learn and do. You are doing certifications, you are doing courses, you are doing getting a lot of training. What are you learning? You are learning this and this. Do you know how to use that? Do you know how you can use it in a broader context? Do you know what is the contribution of that? You are not aware of that, because you are getting separated from all those things. When you know the strategy, when you know where your communication research can make a great impact, communication planning, how you can do planning in different way, making a lot of people, helping a lot of people, involving a lot of people. Diversity inclusion we talk about, you are actually involving a lot of people to do a great research, which can actually be very beneficial for the society or a particular industry or a particular profession. So that is conscientious approach. You're listening to different voices, you're respecting them, but you're sharing the research with people so that they can use that also. Now, few terms, media reach, very important. Media access, the way you access the media. very important. Digital media, new media gave us a lot of opportunity because accessibility is very easy. Newspaper, you had to buy, less price, but you had to buy. Magazine, more price, but you had to buy. Somewhere free for different reasons. And then radio, to some extent, was very available. TV availability, but digital media gave a lot of opportunity for the content creator. Why? Because you are constituting this space. You're not just mere observers anymore, indirect listeners, indirect observers. You can take part in that. So you user generated content, UGC is a big thing. You can take a part in that, and তার সাথে সাথে অনেক কিছু হচ্ছে, একটা কনভারসেশন বা ডায়ালগের দিকে আমরা যাচ্ছি। সো কনভারসেশন, ডায়ালগ, একটা ফিডব্যাক, ইউজিং দ্যাট ফিডব্যাক, a communication is happening. People are contributing in terms of content, in terms of feedback, and আমার মিডিয়া এক্সপোজারটা যেটা হচ্ছে, সেখান থেকে যখন আমি নতুন লোকের কাছে নিয়ে যাচ্ছি, সেখানে একটা ভিশনারি অ্যাপ্রোচ, অনেক কিছু থাকছে। মিডিয়া এফেক্টস কি হচ্ছে, সেটা থেকে এফেক্টসটা কি হচ্ছে, ফিডব্যাক থেকে ইউ উইল আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড কতটা কমিউনিকেটেড হলো না কি হলো। কেপিআইস থাকতে পারে, বেঞ্চমার্কস থাকতে পারে, ইউ উইল আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড। অ্যান্ড পিপল ওই ওপরটা দেখেই দে গেট অ্যাফেক্টেড বাই দিস, বাট ইউ ক্যান মেক আ লট অফ ইম্প্যাক্ট। বাট আমি একটা আজকে কথা বলবো একটু মিডিয়া স্টিমুলি নিয়েও। মিডিয়া স্টিমুলি মানে লাস্ট ডে উই টকড অ্যাবাউট স্কিনার বক্স অ্যান্ড স্কিনার, বাট I intentionally left Pavlov, because when media stimuli is coming into place, you will understand Pavlov also. সেই ছিল একটা কুকুরকে একটা ঘন্টা বাজাতো, অ্যান্ড ডগের থেকে সেই স্যালাইভা যে ক্ষরণ হতো, কন্ডিশনড হয়ে গেছিল। সেরকম ভাবে মিডিয়া স্টিমুলাইও করা আছে আজকাল। সো মেনি পিপল আর গেটিং স্টিমুলেটেড বাই দ্যাট। দ্যাটস ওয়াই আমার মিডিয়া থাকলে শুধু নয়, সেখান থেকে এটাও ইট ক্যান বি আ পার্ট অফ কমিউনিকেশন অলসো। প্যাভলভ, স্কিনার, দ্যাটস ওয়াই উই ডিড মিডিয়া সাইকোলজি, মিডিয়া স্টিমুলাই কি হচ্ছে, রেসপন্স কি হচ্ছে, অ্যান্ড বিটুইন দ্য স্টিমুলেশন অ্যান্ড দ্য রেসপন্স ইউ হ্যাভ দ্য এবিলিটি টু চয়েস। Viktor Frankl, if you talk about Viktor Frankl, logotherapy he talked about. So between the stimulation and response, you have the ability to choose. That's a state of power, you know. So কেন আমি এগুলো করছি, there is a reason behind that also. কমিউনিকেশন রিসার্চ আমি শিখছি, আমি ইনভলভ হচ্ছি, আমি একটা নিজের এক্সপ্লোরেশন করছি, সবকিছু করছি। যেটা আমায় দেওয়া হচ্ছে সেটাকে আমি একদম ব্লাইন্ডলি অ্যাকসেপ্ট করছি না। আই ক্যান ডু মাই ওন রিসার্চ টু ক্রিয়েট, টু আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড, টু অ্যাপ্রিসিয়েট অলসো। তারপরে আমি যখন দেখছি যে কোথায় ভুল হচ্ছে, কোথায় ঠিক হচ্ছে, কে কতটা ক্রিয়েটিভলি কি ইউজ হচ্ছে, আই এম বিকামিং মোর অ্যাওয়্যার। তারপরে যা হচ্ছে হোক, সেটাই আমি বলছি না, মিডিয়া ট্রিক্স অ্যান্ড টেকনিক্স তো থাকবেই, বাট আই এম আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ডিং দ্য থিং সো দ্যাট আই ক্যান কন্ট্রিবিউট মোর। ঠিক আছে, সেটা আমাদের জানতে হয়, নাহলে শুধু টুলস থেকে ইউ ক্যানট মোর। ইউ ক্যান লার্ন, ইউ ক্যান ওয়ার্ক, ইউ ক্যান কন্ট্রিবিউট। তাহলে কি হবে, when you are doing that, you are looking at examples যেখানে একটা ন্যাশনাল লেভেলে বা ইন্টারন্যাশনাল লেভেলে, when you are looking at talents, they know their stuff, you will get inspiration, you will get motivated to take that profession, যেটা আমাদের মেডিকেল, ইঞ্জিনিয়ারিং, আমাদের সায়েন্টিস্ট, এইখানে যেটা আমাদের অলরেডি এস্টাবলিশড হয়ে গেছে। অনেকগুলো নেশনে মিডিয়া অ্যান্ড এন্টারটেনমেন্ট সেরকম ভাবে করেনি কেন? ইউ হ্যাভ টু আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড অল দিস অ্যাসপেক্টস। রিসার্চটাই হয়তো হয়নি, কেন হলো না, লোকের কাছে কি নিয়ে গেলে দে উড হ্যাভ অ্যাকসেপ্টেড ইট। সো অল দিস থিংস, so learn this, but if somebody is forcing you to learn something, you cannot, you can have the choice not to choose that. That is also a state of power. কি একটা প্রবলেম হচ্ছে ইন্ডিয়াতে আমি বলবো, আমি মিডিয়া ব্রিফ আর মিডিয়া অডিটের কথাও বলবো। when somebody is making a communication plan, শুরুতে হয়তো মিডিয়া ব্রিফে কি কি থাকবে, we will talk about in the next session, media planning and buying. প্রিতে যেখানে আমাদের কমিউনিকেশনের আগে মিডিয়া ব্রিফ কি করব সেগুলো করছি, দ্যাট ইজ অলসো ড্রিভেন বাই কমিউনিকেশন রিসার্চ। যখন রিসার্চটা হয়ে যাচ্ছে তখন আমি দেখছি একটা মিডিয়া অডিট। ইন্টিগ্রেটেড মার্কেটিং কমিউনিকেশন আমি কি ইউজ করলাম, কমিউনিকেশন মিক্স একটা টার্ম ইউজ করা হয়, তো মিক্সের মধ্যে হোয়াট আর দ্য টুলস আই হ্যাড ইউজড। সো whenever somebody is using communication মিক্সটা কি হবে, লাইক মার্কেটিং মিক্সের মতো কমিউনিকেশন মিক্স হয়। কি কি ইউজ করলাম আমি, আউটলেটস দিয়ে যেটাকে আমি রিচ করলাম, পয়েন্ট অফ পারচেজ যখন হলো সেখানে একটা করতে পারি আমি, কাস্টমার টাচ পয়েন্টস আমি করতে পারি, সবকিছু রিসার্চের একটা পার্ট। কমিউনিকেশনটা কিভাবে হলো সেটার কমিউনিকেশন মিক্স, মিডিয়া অডিট। I will show you a presentation regarding it. So মুশকিলটা হচ্ছে কি আজকে ইন্ডিয়ার ক্ষেত্রে যদি আমি বিশেষ করে স্টেট ওয়াইজ এমন একটা সেপারেটিজম করে দেওয়া হয়েছে বা কালচারটা করে দেওয়া হচ্ছে, ইফ ইউ আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড মিডিয়া এন্টারটেনমেন্ট, ইট ক্যান ডু আ লট অফ কন্ট্রিবিউশন. It can contribute a lot in terms of politics, in terms of inner education, in terms of cinema, in terms of business. Media and entertainment can contribute a lot itself as an organization, itself as an entity, and a contributor to the society. আনফর্চুনেটলি সেই শেখাগুলো যেহেতু হয়নি, কেউ কেউ চেষ্টা করছে এই কথাগুলো বলা হলে, কেউ কেউ শিখছে, ভাবছে, দে আর ফিগারিং আউট মোর অ্যাভিনিউজ টু ডু বেটার স্টাফ, বাট সেখানেও আর কি যে যতটা আর কি ভাববে, ব্রেন স্টর্মিং করবে, এক্সপ্লোর করবে, ইউ ক্যান ফিগার আউট হাউ ইউ ক্যান ইউজ দিস রিসার্চ, বিকজ আই এম গিভিং ইউ গ্রেট কন্টেন্ট অ্যান্ড ইউ ক্যান harness it according to your potential or competence. দুটো ভালো মতো থাকলে প্রচন্ড সমস্যা হচ্ছে। একটা যদি ঠিক পথে চলে সেটা হচ্ছে, আরেকটা যদি ভুল পথে চলে সেটা হচ্ছে, এই দুটোর মধ্যে ক্ল্যাশ। মানে এমন হচ্ছে মিডিয়া পোলারাইজেশন ইজ ওয়ান থিং পিপল ইউজ নাওয়াডেজ, এবং সেটা কিরকম ভাবে হচ্ছে, ফ্যাসিস্ট এগুলো খুব টার্মস গুলো ইউজ করা হয়, বাট ইউ আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড যদি আমি ব্রডলি দেখি, এমন ভাবে করা হচ্ছে একটা ডুওপলির মতো, যে একজন ঠিক পথে যাবে, একজন ভুল পথে যাবে, দ্যাট ইজ অলসো বেসড অন পারসেপশন। মানে সমাজের মুখে একজন ঠিক, একজন ভুল, এবং মাঝখানে অন্য প্লেয়ার্সরা প্রায় নেই বললেই চলে, তারা এত ভয় পায়। একটা ডেমোক্রেসিতে এত ভয় কি? দেয়ার শুড বি ডাইভার্সিটি অফ ওপিনিয়ন্স, রাইট? এবার সেখানে আমি কতটা অটোক্রেসি ডেমোক্রেসির মধ্যে করছি, দ্যাট ইজ আ কল ফর অ্যাডমিনিস্ট্রেশন, দে ক্যান ডু দ্যাট। বাট যখন একজন কেউ রেবেলিয়ন করছে, ভয়েস রেজ করছে, তখন ইউ হ্যাভ টু আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড, এটা কি ফুল হয়ে রেজ করলাম, নাকি রিয়েলি ইট ইজ এ রেবেল উইথ এ কজ? দ্যাটস এ ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট থিং। তাহলে দুটো ভালো থাকলে, মানে হয়তো দুটো ভালো থাকছে, তার সাথে সাথে আরো হয়তো দুটো খারাপ আছে বা একটা খারাপ আছে, তাহলে হয়তো তার মধ্যে একটা ক্ল্যাশ হয়ে যাবে। মানে একটা ভালো এমন ভাবে, সেটা হয়তো ম্যানিপুলেটেড ভালো, আর একটা ভুল আছে, সেটা হয়তো ম্যানিপুলেটেড, ভুলটা ম্যানিপুলেটেড। এখানে কি বলবো, দুটোর মধ্যে ম্যানিপুলেশন চলছে, রাইট? তো তার মধ্যে একটা ক্ল্যাশ হচ্ছে, ভালো একটা আর একটা খারাপ, এর মধ্যে একটা লড়াই হচ্ছে। কিন্তু আরো যদি আমি কয়েকটা ভালো করতে পারি, কম ভালো বেশি ভালো, তাহলে কি হচ্ছে, সোসাইটি আরো অনেক কিছু পাচ্ছে। এবং এই ভালোবাজি এটা কোথায় দেখতে পারি? এটা হচ্ছে সেই সিনেমাতে যদি আমি দেখি, হিরো থাকবে, আমি হিরো হব, আমি ভিলেন হব, ইউ উইল সি দ্যাট ওভার দ্য ইয়ার্স সেটা হয়তো ওয়ার্কফোর্সকে অ্যাফেক্ট করেছে, অ্যাডমিনিস্ট্রেশন টপ ম্যানেজমেন্টকে অ্যাফেক্ট করেছে, সারাউন্ডিং এ যখন পার্সোনাল লেভেলে কথা বলছে, সেটাই আমার পয়সা, আমার প্রোডাকশন, আমি হিরো হব, এই একটা মাইন্ডসেট। সেখান থেকে আমি হিরো হব, আমি হয়তো ওই হিরোর ওই রোলটাই ফিট করছি না, কিন্তু হিরো আমাকে হতেই হবে। সেখান থেকেই যে একজন করছে, সে একজন এই নিয়ে মার পিট, অডিয়েন্স সাফার করছে। তো এইটা একটা খুব বাজে ব্যাপার, ইউনো, নো সেন্সিবল পারসন উইল ডু দ্যাট। তো প্রায়োরিটি, রিসোর্স অ্যালোকেশন খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট। এগুলো হচ্ছে কি হয়, ওয়াই আই এম সেইং দিস, সোসাইটির এগিয়ে যাওয়ার ক্ষেত্রে বা একজন ইন্ডিভিজুয়াল এগিয়ে যাওয়ার ক্ষেত্রে এটা খুব বাধা। কারা করে? যারা সবসময় এটাই পছন্দ করছে, তাদের এগিয়ে যাওয়ার কোনো ইচ্ছা নাই, একটুতেই রেগে যায়, একটুতেই যুদ্ধ করে, এটা করতে করতে তারা সবাইকে ওইভাবে নিজের মতো ছোট করে এই একটা যুদ্ধের মধ্যে কন্টিনিউয়াসলি রয়েছে। But when you understand prioritization, when you understand resource allocation, what is your priority? Why are you in this profession in the first place? Take some time for introspection and reflection. You will figure out so many things on your own. ঠিক আছে? So, and gatekeepers in the wrong way, they try to disturb the research a lot. Because as I said in the last session, when a society is stagnant, education, research is the way forward, or can be the way forward. You will understand the research and education the right way is the way forward, because it will give you a lot of insight, so many other things you can understand, realization, অনেকটা কিছু ভাবিনি, because you were getting sold a lot of things, you didn't think about the other perspective. So that's why market based research হয়, market based feedback হয়, research based feedback হয়, কমিউনিকেশন রিসার্চের একটা বড় একটা রেঞ্জ আছে। ইউ লিসেন টু অল দিস থিংস অ্যান্ড ইউ উইল আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড যে অনেক কিছু সেল করা এত হয়ে গেছে যে সেখানে রিসার্চটা হয়তো আমরা ভাবিনি করতে, এবং সেটাকে বিশেষ করে মোর দ্যান দ্য রিসার্চ, দ্য ইমপ্লিমেন্টেশন অফ দ্য রিসার্চ ইন এ ভেরি ক্রিয়েটিভ ওয়ে, স্পেশালি ইন সিনেমা, নোবডি or very few people thought about that. এবং যারা করেছে, they didn't give the motivation, they didn't get the motivation to make that film a reality, মানে to make it happen. তো সেই জন্যই মানে বিভিন্ন ওয়েতে সাইকোলজিক্যালি খুব একটা প্রেস করে, সোসাইটাল প্রেশার, পিয়ার প্রেশার, বিভিন্ন ওয়েতে, বিকজ ইউ হ্যাভ টু থিঙ্ক অ্যাবাউট ইট ইন আ ভেরি হোলিস্টিক ম্যানার। Maybe you have come up with a great research, it is not reaching people, that is also a trick, and I am playing with that trick. That's why I know it in a much better way, and gradually you will see how I play with that trick also. যখন রিচ করছে না, তার মধ্যেও একটা কোনো উদ্দেশ্য আছে। ঠিক বলেই হয়তো রিচ করছে না, জাস্ট বিকজ ইট ইজ রাইট, দ্যাটস ওয়াই ইট শুড নট রিচ পিপল। There are people like that also, they are playing with that stuff. Whenever they are raising the right voice, they should get captured, they should get লাইক ভয়েসটাকে একটু সরিয়ে দেওয়া, তাকে একটু ডিপ্রেস করে দেওয়া, যাতে তার ভয়েসটাকে রেজ না করে। মেবি দ্যাট পারসন ইজ কামিং আপ উইথ গ্রেট কন্টেন্ট, গ্রেট রিসার্চ, বাট পিপল শুড নট নো দ্যাট। তার মধ্যে থেকে আরেকজন মাঝখানে ব্রোকার চলে আসবে বা দালাল চলে আসবে, তারা হয়তো চেরি পিকিং করে নিজেদের ক্রেডিটটা নেওয়ার জন্য নিজেদের নাম করে তারা হয়তো এটা করবে। It is surrounding around that. So you are not looking at the research, you are not realizing the research, or you are not introspecting or realizing actually it can do some great stuff to your business also. You can do the research and you know how to take the decisions in a much better way, because information, well informed hole you can take better decisions, universal truth. তো সেখানে যখন রিসার্চ ক্যান হেল্প ইউ আ লট, নট ইন টার্মস অফ ফিনান্সিয়ালি অনলি, বাট ইউ ক্যান ডু লাইক বি আ ভিশনারি and you can do great stuff, invest in a much better way, investment decision, because investment mindset, everything you will learn. তো সব দিক থেকেই উন্নতি আর কি, যার জন্য রিসার্চটা খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট। অ্যান্ড গেট কিপার্স তো বললাম, গেট কিপার্স নিয়ে একটা আলাদা করে সেশন করবো, ইট উইল বি ভেরি ফান। গেট কিপার্স, হোয়াট ডাজ ইট মিন, অ্যান্ড ডিস্টর্টেড ডেফিনেশনস। So market-based feedback, research-based feedback, everything can help. And you will see the brand association যখন আমি বলছি কেন হচ্ছে, কেন brand is the thing. Now brand is not marketing. Brand is a subset of marketing. Branding and advertisement, এগুলো হচ্ছে subset. It is not marketing. A part of marketing. Sales is a part of marketing. It is not the entire marketing. So marketing নিয়ে যখন আমরা বলেছি, it is a broader thing. কেউ হয়তো সেলস করছে, তারা বেচছে মার্কেটিং বলে, কেউ হয়তো ব্র্যান্ডিং এন্ড অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট করছে, তারা সেটাকে মার্কেটিং বলে বেচছে। যার জন্য কি হয়, উই ক্যান টেক আ লট অফ রং ডিসিশনস, উই ক্যানট সলভ দ্য রাইট প্রবলেমস, ইট টেক্স আ লট অফ টাইম টু সলভ দ্য প্রবলেমস, বিকজ ইউ আর গোয়িং ইন দ্য রং ডিরেকশন, ইউ আর নট ডুইং ইউর প্রপার রিসার্চ, সো অল দোজ থিংস। তাহলে কেন হচ্ছে, কোনগুলো অ্যাট স্টেক? ব্র্যান্ড ইকুইটি। Brand equity is a very important thing you have to understand, especially when you're a celebrity. A brand equity is a very important thing, and brand is a promise. So the brand you are positioning in front of people, repositioning if needed, but সেটা কিন্তু ম্যানিপুলেশন করে নয়। প্রবলেমটা কি হচ্ছে right now, the problem is authentic people who genuinely want to build their brand, want to communicate their brand, they are getting suppressed, as I just said. People who want to do a lot of persuasion and manipulation along with the brand, and the brand is based on persuasion and manipulation, they have been given a lot of validation, recognition, so that you think that that is the norm, but that is not the norm. That has been made the norm, that can drive the demand, that can drive the content, that can drive a lot of other things. Eventually you will see the society is stagnant or it is going backwards, but many people are earning a lot of things in the middle, so the process is going. But you have somebody or a few set of like a set of people or few people have to think about that also. You can be an actor, you can help the producer, you can be a producer, you can help the actor. We all can help each other out in terms of business, in terms of artistry, in terms of entertainment. We can create great work, great stuff, you know. Because when you are an actor, when you are thinking about the business, the producer will respect that. You are respecting his or her money. When a casting director is taking you as a cast, as an actor, you are respecting that decision. You are not disrespecting that. You are helping the casting director take better casting the next time. So in each and every way you can use the communication research, you can build your communication around it, you can grow as a human being, you can grow as an individual, you know, you can mentor new talents. That's why it's a very responsible profession, cinema, media, entertainment, because many people are looking at it. Aspirational value, emotional value, psychological, as I just ended last day. And so brand equity, brand association, who are playing with it, you will see কেউ কেউ টিভি ফ্যামিলি এমন ভাবে টিভি অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট গুলো করা হচ্ছে, বিকজ when you look at a television advertisement, এটা নেক্সট ডে আই উইল ডিসকাস, আই উইল জাস্ট টাচ ইট, ফ্যামিলির সাথে একটা ব্র্যান্ড অ্যাসোসিয়েশন করলো, মানে দ্যাট পারসন ইজ আ ভেরি ফ্যামিলি ম্যান, দ্যাট পারসন ইজ আ পার্ট অফ ইউর ফ্যামিলি, অ্যান্ড দ্যাট পারসন ইজ ট্রাইং টু ব্রেক দ্য ফ্যামিলি, দ্যাট ইউ ডোন্ট নো, বাট দ্য ইমেজ ইজ গেটিং ক্রিয়েটেড, subtle perception building exercise হচ্ছে, and you think that person is your family member, maybe one person who is an introvert who cannot communicate much, or even who don't even bother to talk about it much, that person is made the villain. Friend hote pare, brother hote pare, sister hote pare, whatever it is, relationship break hoye gelo, and that person is positioning himself or herself as a very credible person, a family person, believes in love. Oh, nobody believes in love apart from this particular person, he or she. This fringe group or set of people, they are doing that kind of ads for brand association. When you are coming to TV, a different set of audience, like demographics, geographic, বিশেষ করে demographic বললে, different kind of people. Digitally যখন আমি দেখি youthরা আরো দেখছে, so there the important thing is placement of the advertisement, the timing of the advertisement, what is with that advertisement. কোনো একটা ভিডিও শুরু হচ্ছে, অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্টটা শুরুতে আসছে, মাঝখানে আসছে, না শেষে আসছে, সেটা কিভাবে হচ্ছে, সেগুলো কোনটার আগে হলো, হঠাৎ করে একটা সিগনিফিকেন্ট মোমেন্টে অ্যাডটা চলে আসছে, ব্র্যান্ড পজিশনিং হচ্ছে, সেটা কি অ্যাড, আদৌ কি ওটার সাথে যায়, সেখানেও একটা কনগ্রুয়েন্স গ্যাপ, ইউ শুড লুক ফর দ্যাট। এই ছোট ছোট ওয়েতে মার্কেটিংটাকে ইউজ করা হচ্ছে, মার্কেটিং কমিউনিকেশনটাকে, ওয়ান অফ দ্য পিস প্রমোশন যেটাকে বলা হয়, মার্কেটিং কমিউনিকেশন বা ইন্টিগ্রেটেড মার্কেটিং কমিউনিকেশন, ব্র্যান্ড অ্যান্ড অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট এটাকে ইউজ করে এই কমিউনিকেশনগুলো করা হচ্ছে। কি হচ্ছে, পারসেপশন বিল্ড হচ্ছে। আর আমি লাস্ট ডেতে ডিসকাস করেছি আর কি কি হচ্ছে, মেনি থিংস, ইউজার্স গ্র্যাটিফিকেশন, মেনি আদার থিংস, সোশ্যাল সাইকোলজি, you can understand all these things as you delve into the deeper aspects. I'm talking about the thing you can see in the surface. As you do your research, as you understand the scientific part, you can relate to things in a much better way. You can create your own theories, but research can help you a lot. TV তাহলে not in আমার হচ্ছে in between the content, ঠিক আছে, সেটা একটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট, যে একটা সিরিয়াল হচ্ছে হয়তো যেটা খুব ফ্যামিলি ভ্যালুজ আছে, হঠাৎ করে মাঝখানে একটা অ্যাড চলে এলো, সো সেই সিরিয়ালটা যদি একটা খুব ক্রেডিবল সিরিয়াল বা একটা স্টোরি বা একটা ক্যারেক্টার বেসড হয়, the serial or the soap is based on a character or plot or a narrative, right? The ad is coming, subtle perception building exercise, you are thinking that person is credible, all these nuances are going around, so actually branding and sold, the more the gap, the worse it is for the society. That is what you have to understand. But I mean, suppose there is the actual person and there is the person that is branded. Suppose that person wants to make a lot of impact in the society. Now, who is making an impact in the society? The actual person who is farther away from the branded person, or the branded person who can make an impact? That's a call. It can be a personal call. Now, if the person is always around corruption, they are using that gap, they're exploiting that gap because they are betraying people. It's a very natural thing to them. But if you think, you respect yourself, you will think twice before doing a thing. You know that you are not the actual person. The branded person is quite different. So you will take a step back. You will prohibit yourself, maybe, or somebody else, to take that call. Depends, but the further the gap, the worse it is for the society. Your actual self and the self which is branded. And these people, that particular set of people, they will provoke you, because that is also part of their training and their tactics. And that's why I'm telling this. They will provoke you that they are right and you are wrong. You will feel the urge to do your brand positioning in a different way. So that's why you need to introspect, you need to realize, you need to take some time out, you need to spend some quality time with yourself. Is it the right thing for me at this right moment, at this particular moment, or I can do it in a better way? Let me just spend some time with me. I can do it in a better way, right? So that is very important, because this provocation, impulsive behavior, this is what they are all about. That's why communication research can help. You are doing your branding, your brand positioning based on your decision. You are taking the decision based on more awareness. Things around you, inside you, you are becoming more aware, right? That's why you are not being forced to take a particular branding call or brand positioning decision based on something. You know that you are a lovable person. You don't have to do the branding for them. They are not that lovable. They don't know about love. They don't believe in love. That's why they have to do the branding to persuade or manipulate people to buy that love thing. You are what you are, but their provocation, their persuasion, manipulation is so strong, they can push the right buttons, and they know that you will get, your frame will get shattered, you will get motivated by uh, anger, anxiety, vices, everything, whatever it is, impulsive behavior, triggered by impulsive behavior. That's why you have to understand communication research, do it really well. Now, what are the things? I will talk about it in the next session. But suicidal spree, Stockholm syndrome, two things you should know. Stockholm syndrome, suicidal spree. I will talk about in the all these things in the next session. With media planning and buying and strategic media relations, how all these things are behind the scenes. You know, suppose a product you are selling, a product which is associated with your brand, why you are getting associated with the brand. Like, you can do it genuinely, but somebody else is doing it in a manipulative way, and that person is telling you that you are wrong, he's or she is right, and that is creating a lot of content which is lacking that research. If you do the research, you can put many things in one particular content. Resource allocation, prioritization, very important. Earned media, sometimes it is fooled. Paid media, brand association, you are paying, that's why you are associating. Paying, you are in charge. Owned media, it can be used in many ways, behind the scenes, in front of it. So there are many things. And what else? So, integrity of the nation, whatever nation it is, integrity of the nation, if you are caring about yourself, your nation, you will care about many other nations also. Especially if you are in the artistic field, because I'm not talking about politics or dirty politics. Whenever you're talking about arts and humanity or culture, you respect humanity. So if you respect your nation, you respect other nations, you respect human beings, right? People who are into politics, but they are mistaken, like they are in a wrong way into the media and entertainment industry, they can do all those nonsense because they are into politics, but they are doing politics, but they are telling that they are artists. Not even artists, they are using the term, they are media professionals, but they are totally about politics. Now, politics is a part in the professionalism. You have to do the politics, you have to compete, you have to do all those things, but that is not so crappy that each and every content is driven by that politics, directly or indirectly, right? You're earning, that's why it is an excuse, because you are earning, it's a profession, many people are earning, it's a bigger excuse. But sometimes you have to take a step back and reflect that, what is the research? Have I done enough research? Maybe a small research, have I done that? Otherwise, impulsive behavior, again and again you will do all those things, right? No. And that's why research is very learning, state-wise, nation-wise, civilization-wise, you can do that. So politics mostly in administration you can do, for not the dirty politics. Civilization-wise, that humanity part. Now we are talking about dynamic problem solving, because we are living in a very dynamic world. Things are changing very fast. আজকে 10 বছর আগে যেটা ছিল আজকে তাড়াতাড়ি টেকনিক্যালি অবসলিট হয়ে যাচ্ছে, বাট হিউম্যানিটির দিক থেকে কি অবসলিট? নো, দ্যাটস ওয়াই ইট ইজ স্ট্যান্ডিং দ্য টেস্ট অফ টাইম। যেটা তখন একটা স্টোরি বলেছিলাম এখনো ভ্যালিড। টেকনোলজি ইমপ্রুভ হচ্ছে, তাহলে ইউজ দ্যাট টেকনোলজি, ইউজ দ্যাট সিনারিও, ইউজ দ্যাট সাইন্টিফিক অ্যাডভান্সমেন্ট টু টেল দ্য স্টোরি ইন এ মাচ বেটার ওয়ে। দ্যাটস ওয়াই ইট ইজ সো ইম্পর্টেন্ট। Theoretical fieldwork দরকার আছে, special training needed, and hybrid is the best way, not one particular way of doing research, that can be many other ways. কথা এবং কাজ দুটোতেই খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট, both in your talks, in your work, it can reflect, and both are important. Personal, professional, social life, in every way it can help. Personal life, social life, and professional life, communication research can help, because it is not only about that media communication, that mass communication, your group communication, you can do a communication research. Your individual communication with other people, you can do a communication research. So personal communication, professional communication, social communication, and you can learn about a lot of stuff that can even contribute to the social sciences literature also. And whenever somebody is pushing you to tangle everything together, your personal life, social life, professional life, everything you mix, and you just get confused with that, you know how to untangle it also. Communication research help you in that, because it's very scientific and logical also, So with the research, you can either do good or you can do harm also. If somebody is doing harm, you know how to stop it. That's why it is that important. How you can help? Education, entertainment, culture and arts, business. Mostly I am talking about these four things. Right now, this is the need of the hour, and you can help in any way. You can, if you can figure it out, uh, how to go through it, you can help in many other industries or professions. But education, entertainment, culture and arts, business, especially in the communication section, communication is a big part in these things. Even if you do a great business, if you are a great communicator, or if you can hire a great communicator, it can do so much for your business. Branding, advertisement, not just a shallow manipulation. The brand will be a promise. You are communicating, you are living up to it, you are delivering that. That is so important. And there is so many things. Acha, theoretical, I will quickly go through few things, and in 5 minutes I will wrap it up. So theoretical, historical context, you can go through. Applications and uses, very important. Now you can go for a survey, you can go for focus group, you can go for content analysis, audience surveys, group discussions. It can be, you can design a questionnaire. That's also of very art. That's a great art, questionnaire design. You can go for a large group, you can go for a small group, you can go for a dispersed group. You can go for that. You can go for participant observation or observation, like you do the content analysis. Sequential but not rigid steps. Why? Because একটার পরে একটা কজ এফেক্ট করে করতে হবে, এরকম কোনো একটা সিকোয়েন্সিয়াল বলছি আমি, বাট রিজিড স্টেপ নয়। যার জন্য আমি হাইব্রিডের উপরেও ফোকাসটা করছি। তখন ফ্লেক্সিবিলিটি থেকে আমার এটা বুঝতে, আই নো উইচ কাইন্ড আই হ্যাভ টু চুজ, what kind of sampling, what kind of like research, questionnaire design, or interview techniques, information gathering, data collection, if I say so, which one to choose, সেটা আমরা বুঝতে পারি। তো এই যে সিকোয়েন্সিয়াল বাট নট রিজিড স্টেপ, কেন? একটা ফ্লেক্সিবিলিটি থাকছে ডিপেন্ডিং অন দ্য নেচার অফ দ্য প্রবলেম টু বি রিসার্চড। একটা নেচার অফ দ্য প্রবলেম, একটা কারেন্ট প্রবলেম স্টেটমেন্ট আই হ্যাভ, a research question I have figured out. Now, depending on that, situation specific hote pare, I am adapting according to the environment, according to the situation, and I'm doing my research. Area of research, you can decide, define the research, you can do you can figure out the problem. So defining the research is the problem. Many instances, you can figure out the area of research, you are deciding media and entertainment, I will do the research. But how are you defining the research? How are you defining the problem itself, the problem statement, the instruments, the research design? You can figure out in the research and research playlist there I have given. But communication research, it can be coming from two ways. Communication research, first you take the design, then you take the access, then you go for field relationship, then you go for collection and record of data, you can go for analyzing the data, and you can build a write-up accordingly. Another way is you are taking communication research, you are going for marketing tool, and you are doing copywriting. So ultimately you are looking at the write-up, like you're looking at the write-up. Now the write-up can be very genuine, or it can have the creative elements, ornamentation, whatever it is. Communication research, designing, access, field relationship, collection or recording of data, analyzing the data, then you are doing a write-up. It has its communication tools যাতে লোকে আরেকটু বুঝতে পারে, for conveying or better communication. That is okay. আরেকটা হচ্ছে communication research, marketing tool, and you are using persuasion, manipulation, so that it comes across to people, but ultimately the entire thing is phony or manipulative. That is one thing. So দুটো ওয়েতে মিক্স করে রাইট আপ we are looking at, but we don't know what is the process behind it. Substantial research আছে, or I am just wanting to make that person bad, I am trying to make that person look bad, I am trying to make that person talking about this and this and many other stuff. I don't want to go there, because a few people are about that. We are talking about serious stuff which can make a lot of impact. We can take the society forward, which can take the industry forward, which can take the business forward, which can contribute a lot to the literature. So we talk about all those things, right? But you see the write-up, you don't understand the things behind it. This will give you a way to think about all those aspects. Now, regarding this, I will mention one thing, and that's a very important thing. This I figured out this thing. Somebody asked me this question 2 days back. I think it is also going for 2 hours 15 minutes, but it's okay because I don't want to separate it in two sessions. It will be a separatist thing again. But if you go through it, you will learn a lot of things. You can skip in places, but this is filled with a lot of information. So I will take, I think I will take 15 or 20 more minutes. I will take, and I will wrap it up. And there is a lot of question or talk about mostly talks, less questions or less research, diversity, gender, discrimination, this and that. But do your research. That is so important. I think the right ones should not be left behind. The right ones should not be left behind. The wrong ones should go through proper tests. The right and wrong, based on a lot of things, but you will get the feeling if you do your research well or if you are with right people. No one should take advantage of it to dilute the significance. Why I talk about it? Diversity, gender, discrimination, many other things, Now, when you are taking a call, maybe a casting call, maybe a call of an award, whatever it is, that something that people respect. Now, when you are attaching gender, racism in the name of inclusion, diversity, and this is also coming from a fringe, and I will tell you more about them. They are very good with provocations and persuasion and manipulation. That's why you think that you should talk about it, but sometimes you need to think about it in a bigger way, because you will see they are provoking two sets of people so that there is a clash, maybe of the same community. And that's a very common thing, and you have already seen it happening around you, and you will see it more because that is their only trick or one of the few tricks. So when you're talking about acting, you are respecting an actor, irrespective of diversity, inclusion, everything. When you're talking about an actor, you are talking about acting, directing. Maybe they are raising some voice that is needed to be raised. They're authentic about it. But people who are continuously just based on that only, it will show in the work also. The way they talk, the subjects they choose, in every way it will show. So that is why you should create that indicator inside yourself, which is for authenticity or genuine thing. And that can be of great help for many people, because we are surrounded by many superficiality. If we make ourselves that genuine indicator or that authenticity indicator, it will help us a lot. You understand what I'm talking about. So respect acting, irrespective of anything. The right talents should not be left behind. It should not be an excuse for the right talents to leave or get left behind. That is very important, because that is the idea. You do this, you provoke people, you do this and this, ultimately you take the right talent out, make a lot of noise, make a lot of nuisance, and whatever it is. And so that's why, diversity, inclusion, if you understand it, you respect it. I think you have got it. Now, questionnaire: observation, participant observation, group and dispersed individual. Now, political participation, very important. The more educated you are, you can take better decisions, you can look at research, you can gather great insights, you can interpret things in a better way, you can do your research, you can do the strategic direction, you can communicate in a better way. In every way, education helps. Political, there is a thing in India: if you are that educated, why are you joining politics? And they are using the same thing: if you are that educated, why you are joining cinema? Obviously it is making a lot of impact in the society. If you are educated, it's a boon for the society that you are taking part in politics or education or cinema, right? It is because of that fringe they have persuaded people over the time using mass communication, right? Why? Your political participation can increase, decrease, or no political participation. You won't get bought, like you won't believe in that bias, the provocations people are creating. Education will help. That's why you should know about all these things. Capture the complexity. What I say is, capture the complexity, but don't get persuaded by the fringe, because that complexity can be beautiful. Diversity, inclusion, everything is there. That can be complex things, and you respect everything. But if you get persuaded by that, those people will use that thing to do something in the next thing. So they will do that. Now, change is not equal to death of audience. That is also very important. Death means if it is spiritual death, if it is a moral death, that is also not helpful. That is also not expected from media professionals or content creators. So change should be a positive change. The society is going forward, it is getting better and better, it is becoming very beneficial for the society. Change is not equal to death of audience. Now, social communication. When you look at social communication, uh, text, symbols, we talked about semantics, semiotics in the last session, it can be a large part. Now, when they are using all those tricks and techniques, you should know it. Otherwise, you will be going in the wrong direction and you will waste a big chunk of your life to understand that. I think no one should go to that path. No one should go that path. If you understand, if you have done your research, you should not go that path, right? If it is not worth it, and if you still want to go, you can give it a try, but eventually you will fail. Suicidal spree, Stockholm syndrome, two things. Now we talk about investment mindset, media landscape. We are talking about the media landscape. Many content creators, maybe many producers, many directors, many professionals. Media landscape. There is a media space. Many people are contributing to that. You can be one of them. Pragmatically, properly, with respect. Polymedia is a very, যেটা আমি বললাম যে পলিমিডিয়াটা খুব ইউজ হয়. Social psychology, social capital you should respect. Discourses, analysis, content analysis, it can be discourse analysis, it can be you look at the discourse, you look at the content, you do the analysis. That can be a part of your research and that can teach you a lot. That's why it is so important. It should be a learning process. That's why we do the debates, we do the critical thinking, we do the বাংলায় বলা হয় ভাব সম্প্রসারণ, very and then ভাব সম্প্রসারণ means you are giving one line, suppose Aesop's fables or something like that. Where there is a will, there is a way. There is one saying, but you are educated in a way you understand the bigger context. That should be a part of your comprehension, that should be a part of your education. Now, whenever somebody is telling that thing, that line, they are trying to sell you something, but you know the bigger context. Whenever you see the deviation, you can understand that person is selling something wrong. That should be a part of the basic education. And now some people are trying to take it away from the education so that they can create a workforce who are not even aware of that, and they can be just blind consumers of these people. Now, that is very important. There is another thing that is called Sharangsho. Sharangsho means finding the moral of a story. What is the moral of a story? You are looking at the situation, you are looking at the stories, finding gradually you are coming to one particular conclusion where in one statement you are figuring out what is the moral of the story, conclusion of the story. This exercise is so beneficial, I can tell you, because we have learned it early in our lives. And this is so beneficial. And some fringe, that group or the particular kind of people, they are trying to take it away from the society or the education. And I will tell you, that's why we are talking about all those things, because context is a big thing. Subtext, it teaches you a lot about context, subtext, the broader meaning of it. And this is so important. Otherwise, you can be just a slave. Somebody will tell something, you will think that person is good or bad. It will come back to that good or bad thing. And you will not look at the greater aspects. That's why how it helps when you write a script. Even when you are pitching, suppose we talk about the business, we don't talk about the script, because social sciences, communication research, before a movie you can do communication research. You can choose a subject, you can choose a theme, you can choose a topic, and you can go to a place, you can look at people, you can do your research. That will help you to make the script more enriching. That is very important. That's why communication research is so important. Now, when you are communicating in terms of in acting, directing, in every way, it can be very helpful. And এটা বলবো বলে ভুলে গেলাম, but it was very important. When you are doing the business plot line, plot lines যেরকম আছে সেটা একটা হচ্ছে, তবে log line. We talk about log line when we are doing the pitching. We talk about log line. তো লগ লাইনটা যখন আমি বলছি তখন সেই লগ লাইনে আমি কিভাবে হাউ মাচ ক্রিয়েটিভ আই ক্যান বি, ইউ ক্যান প্লে উইথ ইট। A meets B, C meets D, whatever it is. And in one line, because in many times as producers, we ask this question or people ask this question, tell me, what is your story about in one line? What is the theme of the story? What is the log line? In one line, you pitch me, elevator pitch it can be. In one line, you tell me what is the story about? What is this performance about? What is this thing about? In one line, you will be able to tell this thing. Now, if you have practiced it very early in your life, you can be very creative with it because you have years of experience doing that. You are not betraying the producer, you are not harming the producer, you are coming from a great experience thing. You have it inside you. You're playing with stuff, you're being so creative that you are it's a win-win solution with the producer. You are thinking about the revenue as well as you're thinking about the creative leadership and the content, and it's a relationship you build over time. You are producing, you are working in one movie with the producer is building putting a lot of trust in you, and they are trusting you with a lot of budget. Over time you are building a great relationship and you are not misusing it. Each and every time you are delivering great revenue, great content. So it's a basic mindset, it's a part of your personality, right? When you have it, you have it. In your communication, it shows. The moment you say that, all those creative aspects, it is seen. This one particular exercise or two exercise, you have a story, you bring everything to one line. It helps. You have one line, you expand it with a broader context. It helps. Now, scientifically, there are many terms, but the process makes you a better human being. You think, critical thinking, your understanding or interpretation of the text, comprehension of the text, everything improves. Right? Your pitching will be better. Underengaged youth, as I just said, few people are taking all these things away from the education. They don't find that engagement. But by doing this process, you are doing this engagement or involvement. So later, when you are coming to the film industry or the media and entertainment industry, you have put a lot of effort in this thing already. Now you are taking a particular script, while you are pitching, while you are writing the script, you are helping yourself, you are helping everyone in the while doing the project, the producer, especially the producer, in terms of finance. Everything is a part of you. You have practiced it over time, right? So engagement is there, involvement is there. When you are creating a script, obviously that will have more involvement and engagement. That's why it is so important. Now, ideological element, is it fundamental? Many people ask this question, but how do we train? How do we talk? How do we teach? How do they understand it themselves? As I started with, these things matter. Now, gaming as media, it has its side effects. It can be a great thing if it has something educational or entertainment value, because that is getting distorted. We also played many games, but it didn't harm us. Investment of time, problem solving, different ways of solving problems, many things we learn, decision making. But now they have captured gaming as media. So no progress in a useful way. The games are designed in a way you are just you're just doing a lot of time pass, you're just wasting your time, and you are developing that mindset. You are going through a serious situation in life, real life, and you are so disconnected from life. Everything is like a game to you. You are harming people, it's like a game to you. So that is a basic lack of education, lack of civic sense. So, but they are using that thing, gaming as media. That is in the game. What can I do? Responsibility, accountability. So masculinity and video games, is it there? Find it out. Like, do your research. So frameworks, that is also very important. Now, there is a talk. It's not linear anymore. Many people don't believe that Shannon Weaver and linear model is there. Some people do believe. Depends your perspective. But circuit of culture, many people use. Stuart Hall and all these people. So production, consumption, representation, regulation, and identity. These 5 things they talk about. It's a circuit of culture. So media savvy people are there, and how they interact. Media aware people, people who are ignorant about media and media communication, how they interact. Everything can be part of your research, right? So wider communication, it can help you to do wider communication. You can reach more people in better ways. The communication mix you use, that can be driven by that decision making approach, which can come from the the research, you said this communication research. Now context can be social, it can be digital, and many other things, right? So investment mindset and priorities, I think you can develop. And then news agencies, they are about speed. If I talk about dramatic crisis, why are they slow? News agencies cannot be slow, they have to be very fast. Now how you are doing breaking the news, how you are using the news, that there can be a slowness in that. You can be slow while breaking the news, you can be slow while communicating the news, but news agencies have to be smart. So agency is the term many people are using. What is agency? News agency is supposed to do something. Marketing agency or advertisement agency, that is supposed to do something. Now, if you are comparing these two, apples and oranges, then lack of education. So media consumption, again consumption, audience, users, you're consuming. When you're doing consumption, is it beneficial for you or is it harming you? That is very important. What do you consume or do you use? All these things, I think you can understand. Our relationship is there. The way I am using all those terms, because they are doing it in that way, and many people are doing it in the right way, creative way. But that fringe is using all these things to persuade in a different way. If you understand, you are in a better place. People are in a better place. That's more important. Share identity, consumptions, keys, conformity, FOMO, and all these things. Audience, as I said, content analysis, discourse analysis, you can do. Research, it can be qualitative or quantitative, but I think, as I have mentioned it many times, qualitative can be of great help, especially in social sciences, arts, entertainment, but quantitative is always helpful. But some people are distorting the quantitative research, so it can support, it can validate the data. Together it can be of great help. So we need both. But if you don't believe in the qualitative aspects or insights, you will miss out a lot, because many people are playing with statistics and quantitative data. They will just distort the data and they will persuade you with the data, because data cannot lie, as I just said. That's why qualitative and quantitative, both we need to support and validate. And the research can be inspired by media studies in many ways. Education will enhance the political communication too. When to do, when not to do, what not to do. And this is not an imposed rule. It is coming from a place of freedom. That is also very important, because it is responsibility. And empirical work you can do with research in the mostly neoliberal sense. You can create a lot of impact in the society, right? So theoretical frameworks I talked about, empirical data, empirical work. In research, it can be very helpful. How you use it creatively, that is very good. It has a lot of opportunities. Now, again, what can be a misuse? Usually media and political protests. So as I just mentioned before, and in communication research, well, why I will emphasize, if you don't do your research properly, or communication research, driven by impulsive behavior, you will take part in a lot of protests. Taking a step back, realizing things, you will understand the protest was not needed in the first place. In a very manipulated approach, it was created. Now, sometimes we need to do that. Not we, but politicians need to do that for different purposes. But when you have too much of this, the society is not moving forward. And some other people are taking advantage of this to affect education, entertainment, culture, and arts, business. That is what is important. So protest, media and communication, the messaging, the discussion and framing, the collective identity, very important, comparison, the collective voice, set of common practices, dialogue conversion, what we believe in. Now, this is so important. Why I just said that? I just mentioned that sometimes politicians have to do that. You remember I mentioned two groups, One wants to be the good one wants to be the bad one, and they will provoke each other and there will be a clash. Do your communication research, you will find out. I explicitly mentioned it because of a reason, because maybe one person is doing it continuously, but they are persuading in a way that people are not believing it. And one person is naive about the communication part. That person has done it once or twice or few times, but they are provoking them. So there is a clash. Audience perception, media engagement, everything is around that. And the clash is going because they know how to do the confusion. So social fabric নষ্ট হয়ে যাচ্ছে, ইউথের এডুকেশন নষ্ট হয়ে যাচ্ছে, এন্টারটেনমেন্ট নষ্ট হয়ে যাচ্ছে, বিজনেস নষ্ট হয়ে যাচ্ছে, এভরিথিং ইজ গেটিং অ্যাফেক্টেড। বাট ইউ ডোন্ট নো দ্য রিজন, ইউ ডোন্ট নো দ্য প্রবলেম, বিকজ ego is involved. The moment something is very personal, you are not thinking about the research anymore. Why should we do the research? That's why you need to think beyond your ego. If you really want to make great contribution, you have to think about things beyond your ego, your personal likings and preferences, if you really want to make a contribution. Otherwise, you should not do that. So people are constituting, they are contributing, they are creating spaces, as an audience, where you can have a lot of dialogue and conversation, as I just said. Now, I will quickly end with few things. Newcomers and established, as I mentioned all these things, but through the lens of, through the perspective of communication research. The newcomers and established people, they can come together, they can share a lot of things, exchange, again, dialogue and conversation. Now, here also, when you don't do the communication research properly, or you don't develop yourself as like that, you can do the research like methodology wise or properly process wise, but you cannot do that thing. They are trying to build that gap bigger and bigger, make that gap bigger and bigger. They are trying to build that gaps in some places. In some places, they are trying to make that gap bigger and bigger. Why? Because there will be a lot of chaos, confusion, fighting, anarchy, and all these things. Why? It is harming you also, because they are driven by that. Once they will do to you or someone else, then they will do to you all these things. They are always about that. But maybe when you are looking for potential, you can be of any profession, especially I'm talking about casting profession or direction or production. When you are looking for talents, right? When they are making the gap bigger because of some reasons, and they are also doing their persuasion, manipulation, or their tricks and techniques to sell something particular so that they can harm the society in a bigger way, maybe later or maybe afterwards. Newcomers and established people, they can share great things. Especially out of seniority, we have a lot of respect for senior people. They don't have any respect for senior people. That's why they are imposing all those things. So that dialogue, that conversation, that exchange, that's a very natural thing to happen, but they are persuading in such a way, that's an old thing, that's a traditional thing, that's all those tricks and techniques, they're using those terms. So you are getting away from that. Your communication barriers are increasing. You're not communicating, you're getting biased, things are getting personal, you have a lot of conflict. So you're not thinking beyond it. You don't even want to go beyond it. You're not giving great performances. You're not doing great research. So in every way you are failing. Gradually you figure out after a while, maybe with the presence of someone else or a group of people, or maybe with your own family members or well-wishers, that something was wrong at that point. You could have made a better decision, but you didn't do enough research, or you didn't look at things in a better way. That's why it's very helpful. Newcomers and established people can come together. They can share a lot of things. People with potential talent, they can interact with people, already established people. They can have a great exchange, communication, and information share. But when the gap is increasing, you always understand nowadays, but you do your research, but there will be one aspect that maybe some people are intentionally doing it so that they can play their part. That is very important. And they will put that blame on someone else or the right people. So it's a complex game, but the more you understand it, you are in a better place, because they have few tricks. Once you understand it, there is no going back. Again and again they will come, you will understand they are coming with something wrong. So initially you have to do a lot of research, or maybe you have to look at things from different perspectives, but you will understand. So as I just said, some people are just desperate for entry. They are desperate for entry. They have to make a point. They have to show something. They are always about that. They are desperate regarding that. But maybe they will have a, uh, they will take some substance. That's why people don't see that. But actually, when you look at them over the time, you will see that they are continuously selling something. They are desperate about something because they haven't figured out that thing inside themselves. They are always trying to sell something. And some people are selling depression and frustration also. And when somebody is actually suffering from that, they will just associate themselves with these people. They will compare, and eventually it will harm that true person, that genuine person who has gone through depression and frustration or anxiety or any state of mind. Sometimes we need to talk about it, but these are tricks and techniques they have figured out, and this is so bad because they don't care for humanity. What can we talk about? I mean, somebody is suffering. It can be a very confidential thing. That person has like trusted a lot to share that information with you. You should respect that. They don't do that. They will meet someone else and they will talk about all these people with a particular group or fringe. They are like that. They cannot help you out of depression or frustration or anxiety or anything. They will sell you a lot of stuff, do's and tricks and techniques, but that is not inherent. That's why you cannot compare apples and oranges. That's very important. Different groups can come together with a shared purpose or bigger purpose. We can do great things together. If it is driven by a solid research, you can make things happen. But why I am talking about all these things, I will just end it here. It can be like a domino effect, or maybe interconnectivity of things. So I am mentioning that. That's why you have to believe it's not like that. I am giving you things which exist. Maybe you haven't figured out. Maybe it will take 6 or 7 years or 10 years more to figure out if you don't listen to it, or if you don't take it into consideration. If you are smart enough, you can listen to it. You know what to pick, what not to pick. That is not cherry picking. I'm not talking about cherry picking. You are driven by yourself, your sense of purpose. And you know how you can make use of that information for the benefit of yourself, for the benefit of the society. That's a part of learning. We'll read a lot of books. Now we know which one to use, which information, which knowledge to use for the betterment of the society, for management decisions. That's not a bad thing. They do the cherry picking. They pick that line, that paragraph, and all those tricks and techniques they do to make a point, to sell something. And then they compare apples and oranges, and you think that both are the same thing. The problem is in them, of that fringe element. When you start comparing things even more, if you start fighting with the right person who is actually helping in relationships, in professional life, in personal life, in social life, you will see that you are losing a part of yourself. That's why respect yourself a lot, listen to all these things, take the decision, uh, but believe in yourself. That is so important. Love yourself, respect yourself. That is very important. Just don't get persuaded blindly, not even by me. So some are only trying to break the society, family, friendships, and relationships. What gets affected? That is one thing you have to understand. What is the reason they are doing it? Your judgment, not being judgmental. Your judgment. What is right and what is wrong for yourself, at least. Prioritization, resource allocation, everything is connected. That gets affected. Evaluation gets affected. How it gets affected? If your evaluation skills are getting affected, this is something of greater quality. This is something of lesser quality. Now you are looking at people are selling you. You should be more considerate. They're poking all those buttons, But you have to criticize. You have to uh, refrain yourself from that compromise. Otherwise, what is the purpose of evaluation? The society is going into a wrong direction. That person should be first, that person should be second, that person should be given this. If you do the wrong evaluation, and if somebody is believing in that for the rest of their life, that is also lack of introspection and reflection. That's why you need to give that training also. That particular mark is not going to define your life. You have to develop that skill set. You have to develop yourself as a personality or human being so that you can contribute more. You figure out stuff. You ask the right questions. Everything is a part of the, like, these are the things that significant parts of the education part, entertainment, education, business, significant parts of education. These are the things we should believe in. And judgment, evaluation, empathy, care. Again, the same thing. Empathy. You have empathy. Maybe explicitly you didn't mention, but always you had empathy. Those people didn't have empathy. They didn't have care for empathetic people. They will poke you. They will poke you. They will poke you. Gradually, you have a lot of dissonance, if I say so. Conflict and dissonance with that empathetic part of yourself. Am I being empathetic? Am I showing enough empathy? Conflict and conflict. Then you are thinking you are just stagnant, or you are becoming regressive. You are empathetic. You have lived all these years in your life. You have been empathetic. You have been creative with it, but you have been empathetic. That person cannot teach you how to be empathetic. Maybe you can figure out a lot of stuff. You can look at that person, the communication of that person, the research, the text, the symbols, the semiotics, the semantics, everything. Then you can figure it out. You figure it out yourself. But you are empathetic. You are the best person to know. Maybe you can go through the right people, friends. Sometimes you need some good friends, family circles, friend circles, inner circles, people whom you can trust. Truly, you can trust, and who can understand even without saying a word. That's a great thing to have in life. When you make that communication, you don't have to say a single word, and you can communicate a lot. You say best when you say nothing at all. So how it is affecting education, entertainment, business, and culture? Why I just sang? The important thing is, um, songwriting is not something separate. It's a great way of doing communication, in terms of lyrics, in terms of music, in terms of sound recording. In every way, it's a great thing. When you are telling a story, direction, production, acting, art direction, production design, when you are becoming an anchor, you're doing journalism, you're doing PR, you're doing marketing, integrated marketing, communication, in each and every way, you can contribute a lot. Lyrics, very important. Words are important. Music, very important. Conscience, consciousness, that feel you trust inside yourself. These are important things. So you say best when you say nothing at all. Great song, huh? I'll end with this. Okay. Just one more thing. So if you do a communication plan, what is it about? When you do a communication plan, particularly what happens, so you look at few things. Executive summary, you look at the summary of marketing objectives and strategies, summary of communication objectives and strategies, budget summary, what is the budget behind it, situation analysis, you do the environmental analysis, you do SWOT and PESTEL, you do marketing and communication, you do marketing objectives, strategies, business and brand, and role of communication, what is the message, what is the impact of the message. So you design the communication accordingly. You do the communication objectives, segmentation, targeting, positioning. That is based on marketing, geography, demographic, psychography. You do the segmentation. You target the segment or one or more segments. You figure out the characteristics of the segment so that you can provide more value. You can serve the segment. Positioning, repositioning, and all that stuff. Seasonal. It can be timing. It can be reach, frequency, continuity. Communication strategies. It can be the mix, as I just said, set of tools. Scheduling, when you are doing that, the frequency, and many other things, the timing part. Communication tactics, the vehicle, rationale, costs, impressions, involvement, and engagement, very important. Communication budget in currency, it can be dollars, pounds, it can be rupees, or in any other currency. By communication channel, it can be by month, it can be, some people do it by year, depending on your campaign. Maybe your campaign is existing for a month, you are creating your budget accordingly. Communication flow chart, your weekly schedule, recap of dollars, recap of impressions, reach or frequency. Testing and evaluation, you test the programs, you evaluation methods or involvement and engagement. IDAS is only one of the tools, but you can do a lot of things. IDA and hierarchy of effects, communication effects, adoption hierarchy. I talked about all these things, but there are many tools. What you have to understand is attention. First you are giving attention, then you are taking an action. So attention to action, it was the IDA. In between you have the desire and you have the interest. So attention to action, first you are giving attention. Maybe somebody is coming to you, that person is persuading and doing a lot of tricks and techniques, so that is the attention. That person has secured your attention, all that thing. Then you are taking an action. That action can be beneficial for you or it can be harmful for you, so you are taking that action. So that thing is very important. First is the attention. It can take some time or it can be very swift, but generally it takes some time. Over the time you go through the step, attention to action. When you take the action, then an S has been added, that is the satisfaction part. This is called the modified IDA or the IDAS model. So you take the action and then there is the satisfaction part. The satisfaction, this is the question you have to ask. Are you really satisfied, or you are being sold that you are satisfied? Is there a gap in between? How much is the gap? Is it increasing or is it decreasing? Is somebody selling something, investing, like spending a lot of money so that you increase that gap? You are being sold something as satisfaction, which is not satisfied at all, or you are not being satisfied at all, but you are being sold satisfaction. You understand what I'm talking about? Satisfaction, you are being sold satisfaction, whether you are actually satisfied or not. Goebbels theory. Again and again, people are telling you, you are satisfied, 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 you are satisfied. You think, maybe I am satisfied. This is the thing we have to respect. If I am not satisfied, I am not satisfied. I am not going to make that compromise. I respect myself, I am not satisfied. You don't have to tell it explicitly. You know it yourself. Great thing. Starting point. You can make a lot of change from this. Media brief, I mentioned it. Departments in a media agency, advertisement or communication, you have the account management, you have the creative part, you have the production part. Creative, there is a lot of brainstorming, ideation. There's a lot of creative elements, taking ideas, breaking things apart, and all this. Many creative tools are there people can use. And then production part, when you are actually making the advertisement, the jingle, or many things, that particular product you are using for that media content. Account planning and research, there you can have the communication research. So if I come to the advertisement agency, communication research can help you a lot. So when we are talking about the communication research is supposed to do a particular kind of job, this is there. Account planning and your research. This is the client, this is the particular client profile. Account planning, research, you do the communication research. We do produce a particular kind of content, part of the production department, maybe with the creative department, and you are serving the client. Persuasion, something which is very makes pleasing thing, makes feel good thing, pleasing thing, and all that thing. You're serving the client in that way. Management and financial, obviously, your transaction, your client dealings, that service, the communication part that is there. But there's the media audit. Finally, when it is happening, then you are going towards that media audit, whether it happened successfully or not. What was the gap? What was the design? What was the reason behind that? So you do all those things, and then you figure out stuff on your own. Now the thing is, many people tell you that that research, it is something you do at first. So maybe some people will tell you that it is something you do at last. That's why I emphasized on the hybrid model. When you go for that hybrid model, or when you are flexible regarding that research, it might be sequential, but it is not rigid steps. What you can do is, maybe you can start with something at the start. You can look at something at the last, or when it is finished. In the process, in between, you can look at a lot of things. But maybe you're starting with a problem statement or a research question. You are not getting biased by that. but you think that it is going to happen, but it is the thing, and you are looking at things from different perspectives, right? So you are doing the research in different steps, in different processes. You're starting with something, you're finishing with something, but in between you are using the communication research. It can be really beneficial, because otherwise you can miss out a lot. Maybe something happened at first and then manipulated, something happened at last, but in between so many other things happened, you missed out. And until you know those things, or you are ignorant about all those things, you can take the wrong decisions again. You can go for the wrong relationships, or suicidal relationships and other things again and again. So it's good to have the communication process going. It's a learning experience. But again, personal, professional, social life, you should understand where to do what, how to look at things from that perspective. Basic thing, that's one. So I will end it here. I don't need a second session for that. Whatever I have left in this, I will add it in the case study session, or maybe in the next session only, media planning and buying. When we will do that, we will talk about strategic media relations and media planning and buying, more than the dry stuff, what you can learn in books, what you can learn in the industry experience, what you can learn in the other places. We will talk about the broader aspect, what it is doing to the society, how it is persuading you, and many other aspects. Education, entertainment, culture and arts, business especially. We will talk about all those things. Thank you for being with me. I love you so much. I think this is going to be a good year. Huh? Media planning and buying. এটা কি মার্ভেল হয়ে গেল? না।